Well, hello. Welcome back. How's it going today? Wednesday live stream. We're back on schedule. We're having our live stream Wednesdays and Sundays. So today we have a special one because we're working on an old, looks like an XPS 90 or 1730. That's what it is. XPS M1730. I was trying to remember what model it was. I actually got two of them sent to me, and it's actually for a customer who has some specific software that's tied to the motherboard of one of them that's broken, and they need to get that board fixed so then they can actually run the software. So let me grab one of these systems and I'll show you what we got working on, or what's going on. Oh my god. Okay, so here's one, and here's two. We have two of them. You want to see the girth on this? There's two of them right there. So these things are girthy babies. So this is sent in by the same customer. So one of them actually is a donor. They said it's fully working. They bought an entire machine for parts, and but the goal is to fix their other one that's not working because the customer has software that's tied to it. So we're going to try to focus on trying to fix this guy that's for repair. This is the most important one. Now, I know that I could probably... oh, I want to put it on a scale, actually. I know I could probably program it and maybe trick the system board into thinking it's a different machine because it's probably tied to the service tag. But let's see if we can fix this thing first. Now, their note was a little bit cryptic, and I did call them to kind of get an explanation, but you guys can read all the words. You guys are good at reading words. I'm not so good at reading words because they're hard. But so if you guys can understand what that's saying, it's when it's plugged in, the AC adapter light turns off. I could not find a short on the main power rail. So he could not find a short on the main power rail, but the AC adapter light turns off when you plug it in. So it shorts the AC adapter. And then this one has to be stumped. I'd say it doesn't shut off the AC adapter when I plug it in on a bare board. So if he takes everything off the board and plugs it in, it does not short the AC adapter. So it has him stumped. So he included an entire working machine for parts. So that's where we're going to go. Well, but I want to start out by making this thing explode by plugging it in. Now I don't know how we're going to do it here. Okay, so it looks like 90% of the people on YouTube have been here before. So 10% newbies. So we got about 10% of the people in the audience is new. We only have 500 viewers right now, which is not very much. But welcome. And then it looks like about 17% on Twitch are newbies. So welcome. So should we plug it in? They plugged it in tons of times. I don't necessarily want to prove a point, but if what they're saying is when you plug in the charger, it shorts out the AC adapter, I don't necessarily want to do it because it's just going to do it again. Crackling is back, you freaking kidding me. If I move this cord like this, does the crackling change? So it must be the stupid USB wire. Let me get a different USB-C cord. Give me a second. I'm going to have to unplug it, though. So you're not going to hear me for a second. Or maybe you can hear me like that. Yep, the crackling. Let me find a USB-C that's better. And then I can throw that one in my junk bin. Let me see. I think I have one over here, actually. Where is a USB? Is this one? No. I have USBs somewhere. But yeah, I keep having audio issues, trying to figure out what's going on. I guess it's just a bad cord. And if I could fix this, then it would save me a big hassle in the future. Because I keep having recordings that have this same issue. Why don't I have just a USB-C cord? I don't want to steal one off of that. I'm using a bunch of USB-Cs, but I'm just trying to think if I have one that's clear. Let me... Here, I'm going to climb under my desk. If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer. We'll see if we can fix it under here. Hopefully my whole computer doesn't shut off. Okay, now is that worse or better for crackle? Release the crackle. Release the crackle. Okay, do we have crackle? Better? Keep talking, keep talking, keep talking. Okay, so what I did is I just unplugged the USB from the back and plugged it back in. It's a USB-A on the back. It's a USB-C here. No crackle. But then I feel like everything's laggy. Look at this. Talk louder. Talk louder. I mean, my thing's maxed out, so I do project. I do seem to project somewhere. What if that wireless one will start working now? Did you find the LLM under there? No LLM. Ken, cool members, cool fans member, welcome. Welcome. You joined in 20 minutes. Yeah, you haven't missed anything because this whole starting has been pretty bad. This thing's not working, this Wi-Fi. Okay. I'm done with trying to fix that. Just if this mic stops working, I'm going to throw it across the room. Okay? Snap, crackle, pop. Pop, boy. So this one is not, it's just wired. Does that look laggy to you? To me, it looks laggy. And I have it at 60 frames per second is how I have everything running right now. So irritated. At some point, I need to just redo everything. See, now I just reset the camera, and now it's smoother. I just don't get it. I just basically disabled the camera or the Elgato capture card, and then re-enabled it in OBS, and it fixes it. It's only 30 frames per second. Both of these cameras are 30 frames per second, and so is my microscope. But then I'm running the whole session at 60. So there's nothing I can do. I'm running it at whatever speed I can. All right. What are we doing? Okay, so what we're talking about, so this laptop supposedly, when you plug in the charger, it shorts out the charger. I don't think we need to prove that. I don't think so. I at least want to open it up and kind of see if we are getting some sort of short somewhere. But he's plugged in tons of times, so I guess it doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything because everything's messed up. The background music, is it too loud? It's probably because this thing's sitting on my desk. There we go. Not enough bandwidth. Maybe I don't have enough bandwidth on all my USBs. Maybe that's what it is. Sorry for the caps. Yeah, no yell, no yell. Tony, it's okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. He's already done it a million times. It's fine. All right, so let me reset our power meter. And everything's modular on this. The CPU and the GPU is modular, so even if it is one of those things, then we can just replace it. So it's not a big deal. All right, so we're going to plug in the charger, if I can find the hole. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about this, guys. This takes this huge plug. It doesn't go through my power meter. This is a special charger plug that takes this big giant 330. So I can't even run it through my power meter. Crackle, but we crackle. Is it crackling again? Oh, I should cut one of these up. Quit this. I quit this. Should I just switch to the other microphone that's on the desk? All right, I switched to the microphone. Cut it out. Cut it out. All right, so is that one better? It's just quieter. Much better, way better. Okay, so that's just the one on the desk. That's just off to the side. It's not going to be as clear, I don't think, because it's not on my chest. But everyone likes it better. Wow. Not quieter, louder. Oh, it's louder even. That's weird. I don't get this. I don't get this. Well, what are we going to do? So, do we need one of these to cut up? I don't have an extra one of these to cut up, so I can't plug one in there. So, I don't know how we're going to do our power meter. So, we're not going to be able to plug it into our power meter, but let's at least plug it in. We'll figure it out. Let me go grab a charging cord. Power cord. I want to cut one, though. I want to just set it up and make it turn on so you can see it. We want to see it actually try to turn on. My power brick did not come with the cord that goes to the wall, so I gotta grab one. Okay, so there's their charger. Look, this is laggy again. All right, I'm gonna throw my whole computer in the trash. Oh, the new mic's out of sync? Okay, let's sync it up. Let's sync it up, guys. We're gonna have so much fun tonight, just syncing everything. All right, I'm gonna say we're probably 200 milliseconds. What do you think? You guys work with me on this, okay? So get ready. So let me switch to this camera. Okay, so we're gonna do a clap. And then I'm gonna add a 200 millisecond delay. My other one was 250. So I'm going to go to 250 and see if that one's better. So is 250 closer or is 200 closer? Or should it be less? So 250 sounded good? Hello! Can you hear me? Can you understand? Am I in sync? 250. Okay, we'll stay with 250. Okay, cool. All right. That's not going to drive you crazy, huh? Oh yeah, oh yeah! It's funny now. It's not in sync on my screen here, but it don't matter. It don't matter. Okay, so clap, clap, clap. The old clap on, clap off. The clapper. Okay, so I have the charger plugged in, and let's see if we can watch it go sparky spark or something like that. I'm going to switch to this view. And now this is laggy again, just the way I like it. All right, so I'm going to plug in this charger on here. Let's see if we see something spark out of here. We have no way of knowing if it's on or off. What was that? Super chat. Thank you there, Tyler. I appreciate that. Okay, where's the hole? Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Huh. Nate loves it laggy. I didn't hear anything or see anything, by the way. So we should have, I guess we could have went thermal on that. But I didn't see anything or hear anything. And did the brick turn off? The brick's not on. Was the brick ever on? I don't think it was. Okay, the brick is on. Let's see. How do we want to do this? Wait a minute. Oh, an intro. Intro. Should we do an intro? Right. Forgot about that. Let's do an intro. I think it would be fun to have an intro. Even with all this shoddy audio and horrible laggy cameras and, what else? Other bad things. Without having the power meter really working. Gosh. All right, new day, another laptop that needs to be saved. And this one is from 2007. This is a XPS M1730. Now, this one was sent in, and the customer actually sent me 2 of these machines. One of them is a non-functioning machine that has crucial software, and this motherboard has died, but it's tied to the motherboard. So they sent me a donor machine that I could steal parts from. I haven't taken a look at this yet. Let's take a look together and see if we can get this figured out. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Hi. All right, so we got that intro done. Nailed it, kind of. 2007 e-waste or vintage. Which one is it? It has a Centrino in it. It's a powerhouse. Has so much power. It was shipped with Vista. I guess we could take a gander around the board. Let's do that, just so we can kind of relive the youth of this here. All right, so the back of this machine has a USB 2.0. You see the symbol there? It doesn't say 3.0. It doesn't have a blue plug or anything like that, so it's just going to be a 2.0. It has a big barrel jack, and this is the, I guess, gigabit. And that's all that's on the back. A bunch of fan fins and stuff like that. So we go on this edge right here. We have 2 more USB, 2.0s, possibly? If it would focus. 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 If I say focus, it should focus, right? Come on. I don't know. There we go.
So yeah, those are two 2.0s, and then this is a Wi-Fi catcher switch. So if you ever want to catch some Wi-Fi, you flip on the switch, it turns it on and off, and you press that button, and it's supposed to catch some Wi-Fi. I don't understand. I don't understand what the point is. Just bought a 7430 from auction. Good PC. Well, all latitudes are going to be good. i7 32 gigs. Yeah, I mean, if you got a good price on it, it's a good laptop in general. Any latitudes are going to definitely be good if it's a 7430. All right, so this side is the powerhouse side. It has all the functions. All the functions. So we have a DVI and we have an S-Video. S-Video, that's some good stuff right there. DVI, that's the same, as like an HDMI basically. Another 2.0 has a 1394, which is going to be Firewire, and then a multi-card slot. And then who remembers what these things are? Does anyone know what this thing is? Oh yeah, it's a circle. You put it's like a coaster, right? That's where you put your drinks, right? It pops out and you can put your drink in it. It's a little coaster. So DVD burner, and then it has 3 different audio ports. So your microphone, your headphones, and then a second headphone. So I guess probably for surround sound. It's the worm drive. It's the worm drive. So anyway, that's our way around there. Now the specs on this machine. They had quite a few different things that they shipped in it, but Centrino is what's marked on here. Shipped with Vista. This machine may have the 8700M or an 8800M, but they're dual cards. So the cards themselves, it's like one big cartridge, and it has 2 GPUs on one card, and they're in SLI mode. And then it has another card over here that's going to be your physics card. And then these are all modular. So the CPU and GPU are removable. And I had one of these decked out. It actually had red back here, not blue. And it had dual 9800 GTXs. And yes, it ran Crysis. That was really what it was. It ran Crysis. That was the benchmark back in the day. But this system is no longer functioning. So, and that's a tiny touchpad. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it is so tiny. Let me grab another machine. Let's see. If we compare it to this is an M15R4. Oop, don't drop it. So an M15R4 touchpad right here versus this one, because the buttons are separate. So you just have this little thing, and then this is how you scroll this on the sides. But, this one you have 2 fingers and multi-touch and all that on here. But this one doesn't have multi-touch. It's just a single. It's tiny. It's tiny. Who's going to use this anyway? They're going to have a big gaming mouse on the outside. Or one of their track balls. He said balls. Dual SLI with physics. Physics! That's right. Oh, and it has an extra display here. I forgot about that. This display, I think you can program it to have different temperatures and maybe gaming functions. I think when you're in a game, you can put different stuff on here. Maybe your FPS. I don't remember exactly. Maybe if someone wants to look that up, but I can't remember. Outweigh your bowling ball. Yeah, this thing basically does. What does does that outweigh your bowling ball? Yeah, I mean, basically it is about 15 pounds. I can feel it. So it's about the same weight as my bowling ball. That protection by weight. Yeah. So, okay, so let's go ahead and plug that in. Let's try this again. We didn't get this plugged in before because I didn't have the thing. Hold on. Can you install DDR5 on it? That'd be pretty interesting. I don't even know if does it take DDR2 or 1? I play with a 15. I'm actually thinking about getting a 14-pound ball there, because that's kind of the rage now. People are moving down to 14s. Put a brick on the table. Put a brick on that table. DDR2 for sure. DDR1, I think. Should be DDR2. It's like right on the edge, like between the two, whenever it switched to 2. And if they're going to have SLI with physics cards and stuff like that, I feel like they should have it. Okay. Is this thing going to Spock? You ready? Plug it in. I don't know if you guys can get a good view of this. Get out of my way, message. Resub for 9 months. Thank you. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Nothing. I didn't hear anything. So maybe it was on before. So I didn't hear any sound, and let's see if it shut off the charger. It did shut off the charger. So the charger did shut off when we plugged it in. We don't have any way of knowing that it shut off or turned on or whatever. That's because it does. This plug is different size than my power meter. All right, so we do have a board that's actually shorting out the charger, so we're going to open it up and kind of figure out. The customer said that they did not find a short on the main power rail. Now, I don't know if this machine runs on 20 volts or if it runs on battery voltage. I have no idea, but we will see. So let's open it up. So we have to start by pulling the center control cover off. If I remember how to open this thing, you have to go center control cover first. So that comes off right here, or you can call these power button covers. We call them center control covers here. And then we have a keyboard that's modular, so we can just pop that off. You think the whole board runs on 20 volts? I mean, it probably could. It just depends on how they have them set up. It seems like it would. But time to see some old hardware. This is high-tech hardware. All right, so this keyboard, this is pretty cool. Check this, guys. Check this out. Okay, so I have the 4 screws in here. It has these little latches, and then you just slide it this way. Look at that. Do you see that? You see how it slid that way? And watch this. It has a plug. It has a plug on the keyboard, and it just comes unplugged. And then there you go. And it looks like the backlight was not plugged in, or I just had it come unplugged, but pretty slick setup there. Ooh, look at the size of this Wi-Fi card. Look at the size of that Wi-Fi card. All right, here's my thumb. Now, I don't think you're going to have any problems putting these antennas back on. So if you're one of those people who can't put Wi-Fi antennas on, these are the big ones. These are the big daddies. So you don't have to worry about trying to get those in the right hole. Wow, no ribbon. No ribbon on that keyboard. But you can see that extra display right here. Did we ever figure out what they put on this display? I can't remember. I think that there was some sort of markings where they could put this. Maybe they could put some of your other stuff inside of a game, in-game stuff too, on there. I'm not sure. Temp info. That would be cool if it actually had a your temperature of your GPU and CPU, or frames per second, or something like that. You have a 1525 from 2008. Very similar. I would not say that's very similar. It's the same generation. Oh, but you're saying the keyboard's similar? Did the keyboard come out like that? Maybe it did. This is the... What is this? Camera? Maybe this is the camera cable right here. But you know what? I need to make sure this battery's unplugged. This battery doesn't have any power anyway. It doesn't really matter. But we'll take this battery out. And it's an OEM battery. Look at that. OEM battery, but it's modular. And let me open this bay right here. We can actually see what we have. Y'all don't look at that COA. Nobody wants a Vista COA, do they? Do not look at that. I'm going to hide this from the world. It's OEM, but it's dead as a doornail. Okay. All right. So we have our 2 sticks of memory in here, and they are... Is this what you've always dreamed of, guys? DDR2 5300. So PC2 5300. They're 2 gig modules. So that means that this thing is only running 32-bit Vista, I bet. Because Vista can actually, like if 32-bit Windows can only go to 3.5 gigs of RAM. So there's no point in having more. What do you think of that? He's rich now, baby. He's rich now. This is the hard drive. I wonder if it actually has a hard drive in it. Or did they upgrade it to an SSD? Is the Wi-Fi card a 355? That's the Bluetooth. Is a separate card. Oh, it has an actual hard drive. Oh, yes. I remember on this machine, it has a double hard drive tray here. So I'm going to unhook this cable. Be very gentle, because I have important data on these drives. Oh, yeah. Fancy DDR2. Okay, I'm going to get it out slowly. Slowly. Okay. Okay, they only have 1 drive in here. But the way this is set up is they have it where you can have 2 drives plugged in this one caddy. So you have a drive here, and there's an extra drive slot here. So you double them up, you double stack them, and then it has one ribbon cable that hooks into the board right here. So you're able to run, I don't know if they ran RAID back in the day, but it's still, oh, is it? No, it's SATA. You tricked me for a second. No, it is a SATA connection. It's not IDE or anything, but it is SATA for sure. I'm going to be gentle with that. Okay, so we need to try to get this palm rest taken off so we can actually get to the motherboard. And I think I have to take the screen off first. I haven't opened this thing forever. Slowly but surely we'll get this whole thing pulled apart and then we'll figure it out. Now my goal is to actually fix this machine and not have to use the donor board at all, or the donor machine, because then they can have 2 full working machines, and then maybe even clone the identity of this machine to that other machine, and then they have 2 working machines that they have that proprietary software could work on. Because if they, I don't know what type of software they're running on here, but you remember we worked on a machine that was from 1996 or something like that, that was running airplane software, and it was worth $25,000. And the software was tied to the serial number of the actual laptop itself. And so being able to get that laptop up and running, it didn't help them out. And then I had another guy who had, I think it's a pyrotechnics company, and the motherboard went out on his. All right, I got the screen off here. And I had to reconfigure a board to match his old setup in order to get his pyrotechnics setup working. So, all right, so we got the screen off now. We're down to a little bare spot here. The little display on the top left is literally a horizontal flipped version of the one on the side of the Logitech keyboard. Is it really? That's funny. It's just a cheap. This is almost like the ones from like Arduinos where you can like program them, right? I think it looks more digital than that though, but it's probably I don't know what the count is, but probably didn't cost very much. Your first computer was an SX25. Sounds a little fast for your first computer. Although my first computer was a K62 300. My first PC I owned on my own. All right, let me pull this screws out of here. We can try measuring, but I'd just rather get all these screws out first. We're going to go to the old dentist drill here. Oh, wow, the screws are in there. Okay. This thing has a torque setting on it, so when it tries to get a screw out, it tries to help. Little hammer, impact hammer. Have you ever tried using Fantic screwdrivers? No. That sounds fantastic. I'm not a tool snob, so I just use whatever I can. Like this screwdriver costs a couple bucks, I actually bought some of these Kleins the other day. So I was like, oh, these Kleins look like it'll be cool. They had the number 0 to number 1. So these are made for like high voltage. And the number 0 is not as good as the number 0 of one of these. So it doesn't actually fit in the hole as well. The number 1's fine. But I don't know. I was just experimenting with them. Trying something new. RAID 0 with a 320 Western Digital Raptor drive was the best. Whoa, sounds like you're busting up some old exhaust manifold. What is going on here? I would shake this and think this the hard drive, but the hard drive's not in there. So it sounds like there's a screw in there somewhere. 10,000 RPM Raptors. We sometimes get these server drives in whenever we get these loads of stuff, and they're like 2.5-inch drives, but they're 10,000 RPM. So I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, because some of those screws are missing there. Loose cable? Could be those cable. Oh, here's where that Bluetooth goes in. That's what you're talking about, the 355. There's the Bluetooth right there. So it fits underneath here, and it's a Bluetooth module that plugs in, and they are a pain in the butt to get them configured properly. Do you agree? I agree. Is that all of them? Gotta take the optical drive out. I have one loose screw. How many loose screws did Nate have? Crazy Nate has too many loose screws. This takes forever to get this thing taken apart. All right, here's our CD-ROM drive. DVD-ROM, DVD-RW, all the words, all the words. When will you be putting the video with some fireworks, like a 20 volt into a charred motherboard? I'm trying to think. We did this a while back, but I want to do it again. And maybe you guys, maybe we'll do this. If I find a board with a shorted CPU or chipset, I need to put 20 volts straight into it and just let it explode. But my power supply is not powerful enough to do it. I need like a linear power supply. Or maybe I should use like a car battery. Ooh, that'd be even better. Use a car battery and put it into a shorted CPU. I like the sound of that. I want to make it pop like popcorn. For science, of course. If you say everything is for science at the end, then it makes it okay. I don't even know how to open this thing. You had a Commodore 64. Have cat pee on it first. Maybe I'll pee on it first. Then I'll have a cat pee on it. And then we'll use a car battery. How does this thing open? It seems like I should know the answer to that. But I don't. I think it's time to pry it. I have all the screws out, I think. I don't want to pry it unless I see all the screws gone. Looks like they're gone. Okay. You ready? The old pry-a-thon. Ah, found the secret screw. You guys, you should have told me. There's a screw right there. This is your responsibility as my brain trust to see that I'm missing a screw. Something's over here too. There's a screw right there. That's so helpful. Thank you. That's so helpful. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Something's hooked right here. Ah, it may be the screw that's still in the back here. Okay, got it. I think we got them all. Rubber screed on the bottom, rubber feet. Hopefully that rubber feet doesn't have any. Dell's pretty good at not putting it underneath rubber feet. Oh my gosh, screws down in here. Just, the holes are so deep. You're screwed, you're screwed. Okay, and the palm rest is off. All right. You know what I love about editing a video is that all of that spot that you just saw would have just not been there. It would have just been, and the palm rest is off. Okay, let's see what this thing rattling around in here is. Okay, I just flipped it over and this screw came out. So there's just a screw rattling around up front here. All right, so a quick look around now that we have this thing opened up. All right, so we have our GPU here. This thing is huge. Ginormous. So it's 2 GPUs on one card, video output here. Now, sometimes they make these as a single card, even though it's a big card like this, you'll have 1 GPU on here. But these are 2 GPUs. They're SLI'd. Let me scan this and we'll see what card it is, because I'm interested to know how high-end it is. It's the lowest end card there is. Look at that. I sell it for $45. I mean, it's out of stock. But this card was a dual 8700M SLI card, and I sold it for $45. But I wonder if they had, what other M1730 GPU. And I don't have anything in stock, so it doesn't show up here. If I had the exact part number, it'd pull it up. But let me see if I can find one on my back end here. M1730 GPU. Maybe I don't call it GPU. I call it video card, I think. That's probably what it is. All right, so here we go. Here was a 90 This was a dual 9800M 2 gig card. This is what I had in my machine. Now this card, I think at some point we probably sold it for like $400 or $500, but that was the last time I had it. We sold for that price. Crazy. Crazy. So they also had a 8800, 8700, and then they had an 8700 like single card. So they had this card also, where the card was only on one side and the other side was not populated. So, okay. I can't see what y'all are saying because I'm over here doing this other stuff. That's what my wife said. What did you say? Let me see if I can fix this chat thing. The words there's so many words. It's hard for me to see. So many words. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. You have two 12-volt batteries in series. Oh, yeah, that'd be even better. 24 volts. If we put 24 volts in it, or we can use a cordless drill batteries. We can use my DeWalt battery to do it. First programmed an IBM 36030. It's for science every time. Oh, I'm really backed up here. I just realized. Way back here. Okay. It was a screw loose upstairs. Me. That should be a poll. Who's a little bit crazy? Okay, so I'm going to do a quick look around. Sorry, we started doing this. So we have the GPU here. We got sidetracked. So this one's just the 8700. So dual GPU there. This is the physics card. It's a separate card that handles all the physics functions. And that was a big deal. Whenever Crysis came out, all the leaves on the trees were like their own individual little leaves. And so you had to have extra processing power for that. Here's that big Wi-Fi card, CMOS battery. Now, apparently this board shorts out the AC adapter with all this stuff plugged in. It probably doesn't short it out when it's taken out, is what it says. Push here. Push here. It just literally does say push here, doesn't it? You know why? Because that's where the connector is on the board. So I think whenever you set it on here and then you press it down, and that's what connects it to the actual board itself. But that's pretty funny. So you notice there's only one fan here. Well, this fan is for the CPU, which is right here, which is modular. And then this setup has its own fans on the GPU itself. So we can pull this thing out and see if the short goes away. So that's where we're going to start with. So I think that the GPU would be bad if anything was going to be bad. Oh, and it wasn't even plugged in. So here we go. We'll just pull this out. Does it have two CMOS batteries? I don't see two CMOS batteries. All right, and the GPU is out. Look at that. Look at our GPU here. So 2 GPUs on one card, one assembly, and then it has just a little interposer board here that just plugs it in. So I'm going to take that out of the loop, and let's just see if, well, we didn't check to see if the main power rail was shorted first. I don't want to plug the charger back in. Let's put this back in here and let's just see if we can find a short on the board. Actually, let's do that. One step at a time. Are the correct connectors corroded? You know, the age of this machine probably has like blown capacitors and stuff like that. But I didn't see any corrosion. So let's figure out where the DC jack plugs in. So the DC jack is right here on the back of the board, and the cable comes over here and plugs in right here. So this is where our input power is going to be. It's going to be right in this area. I believe so. Is that right? Oh no, the DC jack is built on the motherboard right here, so it's not on a cable. So I can't get to the circuitry there without pulling the physics card. But I'm just going to go to any of these power supplies, and we're going to be able to measure the main power rail. That's kind of my main goal, is to find the main power rail and measure it. So if we just go to any of these power rails or power supplies, so here's a power supply. So you have two MOSFETs and an inductor on the output. So our input's going to be on this side, our output's going to be on this side. So we just measure on here, plug 120 volts into it. That's what we should do to blow something up. So if this is the main power rail right here, well, there you go. Yep, so this is our main power rail coming in here. And we got 0.5 on this side of the cap. Can y'all see that? And then we have 0 on this side. I've tested the core with wait. I have a test cord that plugs a 120-volt outlet and has an alligator clips on the other end. Do you want to use that for a CPU burn test? Ace, you are nuts. Putting mains? I don't know, dude. Maybe if I had one of those like big knobs that you keep cranking the voltage up, whatever you call those things. That would be crazy. But anyway, so you see how I found the main power rail? Now, if I don't know where the main power rail is, I just kind of go and I find power supplies, right? So if that's a power supply, I think that's probably the battery charging power supply. Here's another one. So we're going to be looking for, you got MOSFETs going in. So these two go in. These two go in. Is that a burn? That's not burn. And then we have all these caps here. So this is going to be the input main power rails. These are going to be a pair of MOSFETs. So that's going to be an output. I guarantee this is like 3 and 5 volts. That's kind of what it looks like to me. I don't know what these are controlling on this side, but if we check again over here, we should have that 0.5 ohm short. And oh, yes, that is not an auto transformer. What was it? A potentiometer? No, it's not that. It's called it's like that big giant wheel. It's usually like a box with a huge knob on it. Something stat, maybe. It's not a rheostat. It's something. They use them on whenever they're probably using, I don't know. I can't think. Don't make me think. So yeah, 0.5 on that side, 0 on the side. So we can inject voltage, guys. You want to do, oh, Variac. Yes, you guys are smart. Look at that brain trust coming in hot. You guys are coming in hot. Okay, so we did identify that we have a short on the main power rail. Now, you guys. Do we think its CPU is socketed? It is. It's good. So we have our physics card. We have our GPU. We could take those things out. Would you like me to inject voltage and see what gets hot, or would you like me to just unplug things until it stops? I think the smarter thing is just unplug things. But, you know, you guys sometimes want me to do some other stuff. So, shenanigans, go. I think we should pull the video card, but the measurement is 0.4, so video card, yeah. Let's unplug it. Look at all those unplugs. Flick it. We got to flick it. Okay, so I'm just going to plug this GPU. And then we will measure now. Let's see. So our main power rail was right. Yar. 0.5. So it's still shorted with 0.5. So what should we take out next? How about old PhysX? The old fizzy. Take out that old fizzy. Maybe somebody pushed here too many times. Plug it in, plug it in. Okay, so our physics card is out. Look at that thing. You guys want to look closer at it? The whole purpose of this is just processing physics instructions. It's like your own private AI card. So we got that removed. So now, let's see if the short is gone. The short is gone! Will it turn on? So, the short is gone, guys. We can put this back on. The short is gone. The short is gone. The short is gone. I can't believe. All right, so let me see. Now, we don't need a physics card. We don't even need this thing. We're going to fix it, though. We're not going to go out like that. I'm going to fix this physics card, but we don't need it. Colorado, just sub with a prime sub. Thank you. Oh, yeah, put the CPU, see if it shorts back with the CPU back in there. Let's see. So I put the CPU back, or the GPU back in, and the short is still gone. So we're good. Let me just plug this stuff in quickly. Do it quickly. Do it fast. Where's the power button on this thing? Over here? Okay. Skip that. The NVIDIA card strikes again. Well, theoretically, it's the PhysX card strikes again. How many physics cards does it take to turn on an M1730? 0. How many does it take to make it not work? 1. So let me reset this charger. It must be the PhysX. So yeah, you're going to have to reset it must be the Wi-Fi card it must be the physics card. Okay, blue light is on. Blue light means go. RAM. We need RAM. Okay. Brain test in full effect. How am I going to put the RAM in there now? Let's see. I can't really shut this here. Let me see if I can stand this up. I'm just going to put one stick in. Okay. Okay. One stick of 2 gig DDR PC 5300. No physics. Can't call me fixed. Okay, we don't need no physics. Where we're going, we don't need no physics card. Unless they need a physics card. Any brotherly music today? I have the music going right now, but they I had a complaint that the music needs to stop. So I turned it down. It's on. I can hear it a little bit, but okay, here we go. Oh, it's because the microphone we're using is over here. Maybe it was picking up the audio too much from the speakers. I didn't think about that. Yeah, maybe that's why it was too loud. Okay, so I'm going to plug this back in. 3, 2, 1. We don't need no 5G antennas. So let's see if we can tilt this back. All right, I don't think it shorted the charger. I can't see. The blue light is still on, guys. Press power. You can never stop the music. You can never stop the music. Music. Is that the power button? Where's the power button on this thing? I cannot remember. Do you remember? Okay, so the power button is in the center somewhere. Ah! You guys know where the power button is? I know where it is. On the keyboard, you're right. It's high tech. High tech! Alright, so here's our keyboard, our modular keyboard. It has that little connector on there, and then the power buttons are built right onto the keyboard itself. So we can just stick this in here, like so. Although, I don't think I have all these ribbon cables plugged in. Let me plug in all these, or else the keyboard's not going to hook up. Okay. Okay, line that up. Gently, slowly, slowly. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. Now we'll plug the power back in. Do we have picture? I can't believe. Oh, that was earth, wind, and fire. Push down. Yeah, we don't push down on that card. It's missing. Okay. We got picture. I can't believe. I didn't even do anything. Did you see that? I can barely see the screen. You guys can see the screen really well. I can't see it. I saved another laptop. All right, so I fixed this laptop. It is actually working now. And which was the goal. How many minutes did that take us? There's a 1 hour. We had 30 minutes of like microphones not working and all that. Excuse me. But we're not going to stop there, because if we want to do this right, we got to fix that physics card. Now, this system doesn't need the physics card. I can tell you that. It doesn't need it because my system didn't even have the physics card for a long time. And then I added the physics card as an upgrade. So this right here is an optional card that's not even needed. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do, Mr. Goo? Let's fix it. We're going to fix the physics. But wait, there's more. You see, this physics card is not needed, but we are going to try to fix it and figure out what is wrong with it. Okay, so we have stuff on here, but I didn't know. Remove the problem rest. 3 to fix, 42 minutes. Yeah, I can go grab some other ones. I didn't even make a list of any other options, but I do have a no power that's sitting over there. I have one that I was actually just working on right before the stream that I don't know what's going on with. It's really weird. So that's always fun. And then I should have Sinan. Sinan, you there? You should bring your laptop down here. Are you close by? Because his laptop, he has a X17 R1 or R2, and it runs off battery but shuts off, and he has a new battery from us. And then I even gave him another new battery, and it still does it. So it's not a battery issue. Reflow the chip. Bathe. Oh, okay. Gotcha. About to bathe my daughter. I remember those days. Remember those days? All right, I'm getting this stuff off of here. I just want to look at this. So what do you think? We have a messed up physics chip, or do we have a messed up power rail on here, or a messed up VRAM? This is not needed, but now their other machine they bought probably has one of these in it, and so they could just swap that over. You think it's shorted cap? Let's see. Let's see if we have a shorted cap. So let's see if we can find a short somewhere on here. So we have a short right here, 0.4. 0.4 would be core. So we're at so there's a 3 ohm on the output there. What about this? 21 ohm there. So I'm assuming one of these is for the core and one of these is for the VRAM, or whatever this is, whatever you would consider this to be. Have I worked on one of these before? No. Are we going to be able to fix it? I don't know. I think we're going to have to inject some voltage, though. Let's go thermal. Donut. 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 No, 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 no. So what we're going to do here is we need to get it under the thermal camera and see if we can identify what is getting hot when we inject some voltage to ground. So we have the card here, and I'm going to inject a little bit of voltage. Not much. Just swap it out, Nate. You guys, we don't even need the card. It doesn't matter. This is all for fun. I just want to figure out if it's in the core or not. 12. Okay. Did I find it? Is it that capacitor I'm actually injecting on? That'd be funny. I'm trying to find a good ground here. Let's see if I do it on this side. I don't understand. No compute. 14 amps. I think it's this capacitor I'm on right now. It's really weird. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it seems to be heating up a lot right there. So I'm going to put a little bit of alcohol on it. That's a capacitor right there next to it. I think it's that one. I'm going to up the juice. We're going to up the juice, man. Okay. Can y'all see it? Yeah, I think it's that capacitor right there. Concur? Do we have concurrence in the crowd? So basically, you'll see the alcohol evaporate around that. So I'm just going to pull that guy off and see if the short goes away. Why? Because, yeah, I think it's this one. I'm going to try to heat the board over here more, so I'm not like on the edge of this core, and then we'll come over here and pick up that piece. You may have a little bit of a mark right there. There we go. Got it off of there. Let's look at the other side. Look at that boy. Look at that boy. Do you see him? There's the crack right there. So that's how you can see it's a crack. It's like a ceramic crack, like on a plate. So this guy was cracked. And now this physics card is brand new, like it was made in 1997. Or 2007, sorry. 2007. Let's see if the short is gone. And the short is gone. The short is gone. All right, so what do y'all want to do? What size is this? I don't even know what size this thing is. What do you think? This guy he looks girthy. What do you think, a 10? 10, 20, 30? What does it take? And I don't know what power, it's on the main power rail, so it's going to be taking 25 volts. I have a 10 microfarad 25 volt. You want to put one of those on there? Better than factory. This guy's not even big enough. So this is the biggest one I got. That thing's a really girthy beast. That's what she said. All of the things that she said. All right, so I don't have one of those. So where do I steal it from? Yes, 10 would be better. 50 volt would be better. 22. Well, I need a. This is what an. This is a 10, 010 something. Not an 010. There's no 010s, but it's huge. But I could just put in 8 on there, right? A 10 microfarad. Smaller one physically. 22 or 25. Those caps are small. The caps that I showed was small, huh? It looked small, didn't it? These are 0803s. This 0803 looked tiny. But this is the biggest cap you'll ever see on any modern board, which is crazy. So 22, these are 25 volt. What's its neighbor? Oh, that's a good point. Okay. So it's the neighborly thing to do. You want me to pull this neighbor off and measure him? He's on a different circuit, though. Or he's set up weird, actually. So positive, this is ground on this side. All right, no, this is positive on this side. That's ground. This is positive, and this is ground. So it's weird how they have this tied across like that. I don't know why they would do that. Seems like they would do it back to back. I don't know if they're on the same circuit. All right, Sinan's on his way. So he's going to bring his laptop up here. So he has an X17 that shuts off on battery. So he's going to come drop it off. And we'll see if we can fix it. All right, so I want to see if these are connected. So those are connected. And these are connected. So why did you set it up like that, stupid? All right, so I'm going to pull this guy off and we can just measure him. Oh, 1206. There you go. All right, 1206, not O. There's no O. Get that out of my head. All right, so I got that off. So I don't want to get these mixed up, so I'm going to pull this one off over the side here. So let's see what measurement this guy is. I'm going to put it in capacitance. And figure out what the measurement is on that. So it's a 10. Wait, is it still going up? 10? 11? Whatever it takes? You think it's going to go to 12? 11? 10. Crazy. So 10 doesn't seem like enough, huh? For it being so physically big, it's just old tech. So maybe my 08, 03, 10 will work too. It doesn't need to be that big physically. Bigger is not better. Put 2 caps in parallel. Well, these are in parallel. So if this is just a 10, then I'll put another 10 right here. I'll just put one of my 08, 03s. And we'll call it a Dizay. Oh, you think it's a 6 volt? Oh, this is on the main power rail though, because it was shorting the whole main power rail, so I would think it would be the main power rail. Look at that little guy. He's a 25 volt 0803. Or maybe it's 080. Is it 0805? I have 0803 written down on here. I don't know. Is it even going to fit? Look at that. How am I going to make that happen? Oh, but you know what? Because this, I could go like that. Because remember this. I wonder if Tony's going to be outside, or Senna's going to be outside in a second. But this right here is connected to here. So I could just theoretically just go like that. Concur? Or am I crazy to think that? There. I'm going to remeasure just so you can understand what I'm doing. Okay, so continuity mode. Okay, so this in here is the same, 0. And this in here is the same, 0. And then these, if I went across here, then that should be the same. Okay, are we good? All right, everyone says I'm smart, or everyone says that works. Okay, so that means that if it explodes, it's everyone's fault. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh solder on it. Good. Everyone's at fault. It's everyone's fault, I tell you. That's genius, I tell you. That's the smartest thing I've ever seen. I just improved on the dodgy design. You can only do what you can do with upgraded tech. We're upgrading it to the 2026 technology. Leave it off. Oh, that's upgrade. Johnny says, leave it off. That's even an upgrade. Get in your home. What are you doing to me? Okay. Woo. It's a capacitor train, people. Choo choo. Capacitor train in the house. Oh, I just did an upgrade, man. It's a lot cooler. Have you ever been on the capacitor train, man? He's losing his mind. All right. Oh gosh, that is ridiculous. We'll clean it up. Pretty little technicians. Okay. I like what you've done there. All right, measure for shorts. I need a good ground now. Here's the ground. 0 and no ground, and then that's 0. So there you go. So this physics card has been repaired. We've repaired the physics card. So let's see if we can get all this stuff put back on it. Nice. I like what you've done there. Just like factory. Okay. Okay. What else? These go here. There we go. These things are still moist after 20 years. Okay. The physics has been restored. We will no longer lose gravity next month. God, look at this stutter. It's ridiculous. And now it's butterly smooth again. Okay, let me put this stuff away. We're going to plug this back in. Oh, YouTube has more faith than Twitch. I believe that's generally the case. Yeah, Twitch, they don't think I know what I'm doing. So we got 58% says it will go boom. Oh no, 42% says it will go boom. And 30% says it will go boom on YouTube. Will it go boom? All right, so we got our physics card. Do we know where to push it? I think we know where to push it, right? We got to put it right here, and then it says push here. So we'll put it right there. Push there. There we go. All right. Got that in there, got that in there. Put this back on. Back in. Bada boom, bada bang. And Bob's your uncle, see? Come on. There we go. Nice. Okay. Don't forget there's a person outside. Is he outside right now? Is he here yet? Let me see if he's messaging. That's funny. He's probably messaging right now. No, I don't see him messaging. He's going to be chatting in on the live stream. You let me know if I miss it. Send in, you can just bang on the door. I'll hear you. Or the glass. Do you want me to hook up the backlight, keyboard backlight? You here yet? I'm not going to worry about the keyboard backlight. It's going to be a pain to get that thing hooked up right now. Where we're going, we don't need keyboard backlight. We just want to see it boot up. All right, so let me put a screw in here. Where's my screwdriver? Where's my screwdriver at, yo? Not now. Don't do BIOS update. Just break the glass. Yeah, I have a bunch of universal keys outside my building, and so I've had people open the front door using the universal key, aka big giant rocks, river rocks. So it's crazy because it's like the whole front of my building is like glass, and then the entire like flower bed or whatever in front is just big giant river rocks. So I've had people break in that way before. A stone key. That's right. I have a stone key on my front counter that somebody used to break in with. But one time, somebody actually took one of my plate glass windows out. So they must have worked at a window shop or something, and they kind of etched out the glass, took the little rubber gasket out, and set the glass over to the side, and then climbed in through the window. But didn't realize I didn't have glass break protection on. I had motion sensors on, and so then right as they got inside, the alarm went off, and then they just grabbed the cash drawer and left. Which, if you're going to get something out of a cash drawer, $200 is not worth it to do that, I don't think. You want to see the keyboard light up, huh? Is that your goal? You're not going to be able to see this keyboard light up. Invest in mulch. Yeah, it's a property manager situation. So they're in charge of all that stuff. I got 50 on it. There's a tweaker's paradise. Okay, I want to put the drive in here. Gosh, I'm trying not to screw this thing together too much, but sometimes you have to put some screws in, or else it just falls apart too much. Retest. What am I retesting? What is going on? I hate that screwdriver. Will it work? I don't know. Apparently I'm choosing all the wrong screws. Retesting the physics. Oh, I should retest it before I put all these screws in, right? Yeah. It's because I'm so confident I'm at least putting some screws in here. That's how you know I'm confident. I'm actually putting screws in. Okay, so we have the physics card in there. We have the GPU in here. And I'm going to plug it in. You ready for it to go boom boom? You ready for some boom boom? No jokes, man. No jokes. Okay, so the power meter doesn't work on this machine because this is a different jack, but ready? 3, 2, 1. Kapow. Upgrade the 2 SSDs. Okay. All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1. See some lights for a second. What does that mean? Did it just go kaboom? Did we lose our sound? We got a blink code, but I do have picture. I got picture! I can't believe! What's the blink code here? Center light blinking. What's the center light blinking code? RTC maybe? Oh yeah. Okay, it's cleared itself. Okay. So we got picture. We got new hard drive. So let's plug in their hard drive and see if we can get it to boot up. What do you think? Because that's the whole goal, is them trying to access this software that they have. Time and date. Time and date, I tell you. All right, so we're going to put their hard drive in. Circa whatever. Well, I think I hear a car outside. Maybe. So Sinan may be here. Either that or it's a train. Don't miss pre-SSD load times. No, sir, I don't either. Okay, that's a Maxter drive. Ooh, Maxters. Remember those? Those things were all the rage. Okay, let's plug this back in. Oh, I hear hard drive spin. Anyway, have picture, I can't believe. F1 to continue. Do you remember this? The old Vista boot up. It is booting Vista, but why didn't they put a logo up here? Like Windows 7 had a logo. Windows 10 has a logo. Windows XP had a logo. Where's this logo right here? It's like, do I need to put like one in the dust here? Put a little Windows symbol in the dust. I don't know if you can see that, but I don't understand Windows Vista boot up. But it is booting Vista. Replacing the CMOS battery. That's probably why this is blinking here. Oh, this thing just lit up. And let's see if it has personal information. I don't even know if it's going to do personal information or not. So we'll see. I'll block this. It's an 80 gigabyte max DOA. Should install XP, it'd be faster. Well, I still don't have a screen yet. I've heard of the Vista operating system. Yeah, I'm going to turn this just so I don't have to worry about showing a screen here. Because Windows XP and 7 and Vista and all that stuff will boot right to a person's login and their name and everything. Yeah, so I can see the person's name, but I'm going to cover that up. And there we go. We got to the login screen. So we made it. And this has Vista Ultimate on it. So we were able to successfully fix this M1730 from 2007. And we didn't even need to use their donor system that they had right here. Now, what do they want to do? They upgrade it. We only have 2 gigs of RAM in here right now. They'll put 4 gigs. I don't think this thing can go any higher than that because it probably only has 32-bit operating system on it. So you'd have to update that. But they have crucial software that was tied to this motherboard, serialized. So they needed to get this particular board fixed. And so that's why we ended up doing that. But it just ended up being a short on the physics card. I was thinking it was going to be the GPU. The GPU is fine. Physics card, we're able to replace that. Now the system's turning on and working. I'm not going to run FurMark on it. I don't think the FurMark would even work on it, but it's not something I want to do or mess with it on this. But definitely an interesting one. And I'll go check and see if Sinan's here and we can actually work on his laptop next. This is shutting down. Let me walk over and see if Sinan's outside. Nope, he's not here yet. Well, we got plenty of laptops to work on if we don't want to work on that. So if it runs, I could put a different drive in here if y'all want, and then we could boot off of that and run FurMark. I don't want to mess with their drive because it has crucial software on it, so I don't mind putting a separate SSD in here. But the thing about SSDs and older operating systems is they have to be installed to the machine that you put it on because the controller has to be set up a certain way. And so you'll end up getting blue screens of death. It's not like Windows 10, where Windows 10 you could actually just put the drive in any machine and it would boot up. But Windows 7, XP, Vista, all that stuff, you can't do that. Oh, end the poll. Thank you. So just so everyone knows, 30% of the people thought that I wasn't going to be able to pull that off. Okay? Just so you know, that's 30%. And how is that possible? How could I have not pulled that off? Windows 3.1.1, 3.1.1. What about Windows 3.5.1? 3.5.1 was all the rage. Get that out of the way. Yeah, gotta have a little faith. Boot in the safe mode is too. Oh, I loved the F8? You can boot in the safe mode on that, but on Windows 10 now, you can't even get the safe mode very easily. It's like a pain. And so it's going to be a lot easier. I wish I could just press a button like that and be able to get straight into the safe mode, but you can't. Windows 3.1.1 was for work groups with your token rings. All them token ringing going on. I suspect 30% were more hoping for a kaboom, a kabang. I guess so. So I guess the plan is here. So we have 3 hours left, guys, or 2.5 hours left of the stream, which is awesome. So I was able to at least fix one right off the bat. Now I have multiple laptops off to the side that we can just pull. We do have Sinan, who's in chat, He's driving over here. He lives nearby, and he has a laptop that's having issues. It's an X17 R1 or R2 or something like that. That is shutting off when he runs on batteries. It runs fine on AC adapter, but whenever you have it on battery, it will actually shut off under stress loads. He has a brand new battery from us. He has a brand new battery, and then I even got to replace his battery again, and it's still doing it. So, and it originally was doing it, and then he replaced the battery and it fixed it. But so I don't know what's going on here. Does someone want to help me fix the battery or fix my microphone? Yeah, that'd be nice. Is this microphone working out so far? I know it's really airy, probably. You want to work on spike number 2? I did get a little bit further on this of this battery one right here. I do have all the spike parts right here, though, if we wanted to start soldering. So spike 2 is all these parts right here. And then I have to assemble it, but I have no idea where I'm going with that, so we'd have to try. And it might be horribly entertaining or not. I don't think it would. I think it's going to be more of a kind of figuring it out as I go while I'm getting it a little bit more together. It has a little bit more ambient reverb from your environment. Does that make it a little bit more personal? Does that make you feel a little bit more part of the whole session? You keep hearing ambient noise in this space, like when I'm touching my desk and stuff. What about when I move my microscope? Yeah. Fix the donor board. Putting it into the timeline. Do you do Linux repairs? Wait, do you use Linux in repairs? I mean, I have Linux. I use Linux at home, but I can't use Linux on my computer here because most of the apps don't work on it. So I have to kind of keep coming up with new workarounds for that stuff. So in general, we'll boot into Linux if something's not working in Windows, just to verify like a webcam is working or not working or whatever. Windows did a collab with Apple. Are you freaking kidding me? Great work on the XPS. Hey, no problem, Scar. Which XPS? Work on lots of XPSs. How about some cartwheels while we wait? Okay, you kidding me? You want to do a cartwheel? Let me do a handstand. All right, you ready? No, just kidding. I can't do that. I can't do that. Did you really think I was going to do it? I can grab another laptop that I need to fix anyway. Time to hydrate. I'm going to grab this laptop because it needs to be fixed anyway. This one. Who? But who? What is it? All right, so this one is an XPS something. XPS. Oh, the pre-Alienware. Oh, yeah. So everyone get an update on the pre-Alienware. Let me pull that up. So next Sunday's stream is going to be this pre-Alienware Area 51. So this is before Dell bought Alienware. This was the Alienware that they produced. This is a 3450i, so it's not like a super high-end version of it. But I picked it up for less than this, actually. I think it was delivered for $100. The guy, I started watching it, and then they gave me an offer for $80 as a non-working machine, plus $14 shipping. So it's on its way. It should be here today or tomorrow. I mean, not today, but tomorrow or the next day. So we're going to work on this on Sunday. I'm going to have to make a charger for it because it has like a weird charging port. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, yeah. So here's the charging port. It's like a weird... Oh, maybe this is just a barrel jack. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. So I'll have to come up with some sort of charging port for it. Do you have a charger for an XPS M1730 in stock? I doubt it. It's been a long time since I've had M1730. M1730. Actually, let me just go. So here's all the M1730 parts I have in stock. And so if we go to chargers, yeah, I don't have any chargers in stock. It hides a lot of parts whenever they go out of stock. There's a battery. A PA21. Is that what it was? PA21. I just have the cord for it. That's it. But no, I haven't had one of those. Might have a universal. A universal might work for an Alienware. Maybe. I'll have to see. So whenever I get the thing in, I'll play around with it. I did find some sort of like... Oh, I hear a horn honk outside. I'll be right back. I think Sinnon's here with his laptop. Do you want me? I can just put my test drive in there if you want. Okay. All right, cool. And then this will be yeah. All right. You want to hang out here or you want to? No, that was good. Yeah. Cool. All right, that works. I guess you do want to borrow. Thank you for this, by the way. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you go around the other side if you want. Sit at the desk. I need to sit. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, so we do have another candidate, another machine that needs to be repaired, and this is going to be Sinnon's laptop. Sinnon's laptop has arrived. So we have an X17. Is this an R1 or an R2? R2. It's an R2. So an X17 R2. So high-end machine. Now these are the ones that were shipped with the liquid metal, but he has already cleaned that thing off. And it shuts off whenever it boots on battery, is what we hear, at least. So, Charlie, do you have a part number for an M1730? Because I cannot find a PA21 as it uses a barrel jack. It's way too small. I mean, I can tell you, let me look it up real quick. I can find it for you. Find my old listing, at least. M1730. All right, so it was a PA19 is what we sold it as right here. So PA19, at some point I had them for $70. So PN402 is my Dell part number, or the Dell part number, and it probably has a few other part numbers. No, it looks like it's just those. So it's 230 watt PA19. So that's what goes to an M1730. All right, so let's go ahead and boot up this machine. We want to figure out if it's going to shut off or what. I'm going to start out with just plugging in the charger, and we can keep an eye on the power meter while we're doing this. But apparently it works fine on the charger, but whenever it boots to Windows, or you want to do an intro. Of course, we need an intro. We need an intro. Let's see if I can pull off one of those. All right, new day and another laptop that needs to be saved. And this time we have an Alienware X17R2. Now, this is Sinnon's laptop from chat. He's been having a little bit of an issue where the laptop shuts off when it's on battery under stress loads, but it works fine on a charger. I've already replaced his battery 2 times, and it's still shutting off. So I haven't taken a look at this yet. Let's take a look together and see if we can get this figured out. Oh, I just heard it boot up just now. I guess I'd opened the lid a second ago and it booted up the Windows. I do have it on battery right now. I'm going to plug it in before we get it to shut off. Now, is it when we run a stress test, or is it just at idle? I don't know exactly. Let me see if I can get this logged in. Do we have a pin that I can log in with?
Yeah, let me find a pin.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can get a pin, and I'll just try to keep this covered up. Hopefully we can get this figured out. Now, this has kind of been an annoying situation where it's like you're trying to figure out exactly what would cause a machine to shut off. Now, I've seen these machines have issues while running on battery and charger together under high load because they have the power management chip is a sharing chip. It actually shares power from the battery. And so if you have a kind of a weak battery or an aftermarket battery, you'll have shut off issues. Senin didn't bring you an easy pizza. I know. He brought me a problem child. He brought me something that he couldn't fix. Okay. Thank you. And so let me see if we can get that logged in real quick and figure that out. All right, so I'm going to log in here and see if we can run some stress test stuff on here. It looks like it already has a lot of the stuff loaded. All right. So let's see if we have a fur mark on here. The idea would be to have it where we run it on the CPU only. I mean, not the CPU. We run it on the charger only and see if it gets the machine to stay on. Then we unplug the charger and see if it shuts off on the battery. The thing is, whenever you're running on the charger, it's going to pull more current. This thing will use up to like 330 watts. And I think the charger he's using is a 360. It looks like a 360. And but 330 watts is what this one would be spec'd with. Right now I'm running on a 240 as a test, and then we can plug in a 330. But right now you can see the wattage just kind of jumping around. If you pay attention, it kind of jumps up to that. Look, it's at 30 watts right now. Why is it 30? That's pretty low. And then 150 for a second. I don't know. That seems weird. That seems weird to me. Unless it's going into a very low power state for a second. Let me see if I can get the task manager pulled up and see how much current we're pulling, or see what the CPU is set at. Okay, so the CPU is only at 1.8 gigahertz, 1.5, so it is a kind of a power saving setting right now. So that would make sense that it actually is going down to that wattage, but 30 watts is really low. And so if I put it on max power, press F1. Okay, yeah, I can do that. So it's on balance right now. So let's press F1. Go.
Function F1.
Yeah. Takes a second for it to turn on. I pressed the function F1. Let's try it one more time.
Function F1.
Yeah, I did. All right, let's see. Let me try this again. Function F1, go. Either way isn't changing it. Do we have ACC on here? Command Center. So I'm just going to open Alienware Command Center and see if we can actually get it to trigger up that way. I don't know why it doesn't want to trigger when I'm pressing function F1. So, yeah, so we're trying to figure out, is it going to be a MOSFET? So last week, I guess on Sunday's stream, we did have a system where it would actually shut off on battery, and it was because the MOSFET was dropping voltage across it. Now, he's already done all his thermal testing on this. Has a thermal camera. He can actually see all the cells just charging properly. He can see all the MOSFETs. Nothing's getting hot or, in a relative way that's going to cause the issue. So we don't know exactly what will be causing this at the moment. So let me see if we can get this going on. Battery calibration. He's had this battery for a while. I think he bought this battery originally, 5 months ago or something, right? Yeah, so he had it for about 5 months. All right, so it's in balance mode right now. I'm going to hit performance. And see what the wattage goes up to. So pay attention to this wattage here. Still at 30 watts. What's going on here? Gotta wait for that thing to jump up, but this is very low. BIOS update? I'm sure the BIOS is up to date. It has to be. The GPU even on? Okay, now the wattage is getting higher. Okay, now I can hear the fans. But still, it's moving around a lot. It's not staying so steady. It still has that kind of sawtooth, and it's still going down to 30 watts. I don't know. Something seems weird. Something seems weird with that. And let me see what the task manager is saying. So we're only at we're at 3 watts. Let me switch to our 330 watt charger. I'm only on a 240. I know. I should have been on 330 the whole time. Okay. So now I've switched to a 330 watt charger, and maybe that's why it wouldn't go to performance mode. Okay, 330 watt, switching to performance preset. And still at 2.6 gigahertz. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but 2.8. The wattage went down to 17 watts. Did you see that? So it went all the way down to 17 watts at one point. I don't know. This is not the way it's supposed to run. I can tell you that. And the GPU is still not on. Let me open FurMark, see what it does. FurMark's not opening. Let me open this FurMark. The CPU is being shy. Okay, so when I start this, we should get a good burst. So it's a 3080 Ti, so this thing isn't messing around. So when we press it, we should get it to jump up 100 watts at least. Okay, there we go. Now we're up to 200. 200. And we have 64. Let's see what this is. CPU still at 2.7. It's moving around a lot, though. I don't know. Something's weird. Something's weird. Let me go full screen on this. Nope, it's not going to let me go full screen. Full screen. Okay, so what are we maxing out at? What do we think? 235 watts about? But then it goes all the way down to 167. It's not thermal throttling per se. It's not doing that. Let me stop this again, see how far it drops down. I don't know. Boot with your SSD, please. Yeah, I almost want to do my SSD just to kind of see if it does this. But if we go into diagnostics and it's moving around like that too, that may have something to do with that. May change something. Now I can see the load on the GPU changed right here. You can see that went back down. This is still, we got up to 3 gigahertz, but this should be at 5, like 4 and 5. Let me see what Windows is set up here. Windows is balanced, so if I change this to max performance on Windows setting, does that change anything? Nope. Let me see if I can change your profile here. Well, I guess the goal is we wanted to see if it shuts off on the charger, so it ran fine. I'm going to unplug it. We are in battery now, and let me start the FurMark back up. We wanted to see it shut off. So I'm going to hit it. And so we know that this will pull about, well, it's pulling 200 watts, but this is only running at 38 frames per second, and it was running at 200 frames per second. So we know that this thing is running not at full speed, and we don't think that much wattage is being pulled out of here. And I think there is an app that you can actually see the wattage coming out of the battery. I don't have that app, but Prime 95 needs to be pushed at the same time. Oh, in order to get it up to 300. And then that's also with charging the battery too. So you need Prime 95 and that. But what I was concerned with is whenever the machine is, more or less at idle, it keeps dropping down to like 17 watts for a second. So let's see, how long does this take for it to shut off? FurMark, CPU burner 2. Too bad we don't have spike number 2 yet. That'd be so sad. It's Dave's fault. It's always Dave's fault. So we get Prime 95. I don't think we can get this running at the same time, can we? And do you have a temperature, CPU temp on here? CPU burner, what's that? Oh, right as I tried to open that, it killed it. All right, so the machine did shut off just now. Now, if we go back in and see, I don't think this has a BIOS that will tell us, but sometimes it will tell us what the shutoff was. CPU is on the other FurMark screen. Does it have a CPU on the FurMark screen? Yeah, so this doesn't have one of those error logs on it. And I just want to see what performance settings we have set on this. Performance options. So you have a CPU offset of 10. Is Senin, is that something you set in the BIOS, the CPU offset of 10? Okay. All right, so that might be why I'm seeing it act a little weird. Can I put it to 0 just so I can play around with the...
Sure.
Okay. So I'm going to set this thing set to 10, and it's normally supposed to be at 0. And so putting it at 0 will maybe make it act a little more normal for what I'm at least looking for. But I don't know if it will affect it shutting off or not shutting off. I have no idea. Because again, when you have intermittent issues, it's not something that's easy to figure out. Okay, so hardware info 64 will show a lot. I wonder if we have that on here. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, and I'm going to try to make sure we don't have overclock on. I'm going to try to get everything kind of at stock so we don't have that as being what's going on. Okay. All right, let's see if we got this in. So we're back up. So do we have hardware info? Don't have hardware info on here. Okay. Let's close this. Okay, that might be better. But I'm just looking at the CPU. It does seem like it's pulling more of an average higher wattage in general with the offsets changed back. I think so. We're just trying to see if it drops back down to 17. Because that looks still jumping around a lot though. It's really weird. All right, I'm going to put my test OS in here. You did see hardware info? I don't see it. Miss you, Nate. Cool Breeze, thank you for that. I'm back from vacation. Yeah, I'm going to pull his drives out. I'm going to put my own drive in there. And that way we can just kind of mess around with it. I don't have to... I can connect to the internet and pull down whatever we need. Yeah, close Discord because it might be just trying to connect to Discord every time. All right, let me pull the bottom off of this. Lowest was 45 that time. So yeah, changing that offset probably did adjust that a little bit. We're going to put, well, Blanche is my Windows 10, so we can't use Blanche. We're going to use my Alien setup, which already has all the drivers for this machine. I do need to make a new version that will, you know, be a Rose or something like that. One of the other Golden Girls. What's the battery's health? So the battery's new. So this one's even a replaced one from this week, I think. Come on, buddy. Negative offsets. They are negative offsets. What is this screw doing? Higher numbers or earlier throttles. I never use the offset, so I'm not super familiar with it, so you guys would know more than that. I run everything stock. So, all right, flick the battery. Pull that out. This is SSD 1. Put a little dot on it. We know that there's different drives anyway, so that's nice. The adapter, I'm using my adapter right now, but it's not an adapter situation because it shuts off on battery. So yeah, here's the battery. And so even looking at it under a thermal camera, you can see all the cells heating up. And so each cell was actually discharging at the same a rate. And the cord would get a little hot. I mean, that's pretty normal. Now, the main question is like, is one of the MOSFETs on the other side getting hot? Like we have the charge MOSFETs here, the ones that run the main motherboard, then the protection MOSFETs. And so it might be one of the other MOSFETs on the other side of the board that might have a partial short on it or something like that. But we'll never know. Let me grab my test OS. Why can't you use Windows 10? I guess you could use Windows 10, but my Windows 11 is already configured to this machine. This machine came out in 2022. So you have to kind of think about that, or 23. So you kind of want drivers that are going to be configured to that. Clean is the install. So the install was already clean in the first place. The cleanest install there was. So he was working on a clean install, working on a clean battery. Software issue? I don't. It may not be a software issue. We can boot in the diagnostics too. TCC on my M18R2 was set to 20 and pushes up to the 90s. So if you set it to 20, you can get up to 90. So that it does like a thermal throttle. So it basically, yeah, you guys are gonna have to explain to me how that works because I never messed around with it before. Why do only business machines have updates with Windows 10, right? No, you're talking about just like updates, like the extended updates. Anybody can get those until 2027 now. They just extended it for another year. So lucky you guys. You can just sit there and use Windows 10 forever. Forever? Forever, ever. Are you running in load BIOS defaults? I definitely could. I haven't done it, but we can try that. It looks pretty. So in Alienware laptops, TCC stands for Thermal Control Circuit. TCC offset is the setting that allows the user to lower the maximum temperature threshold before the CPU throttles. Interesting. Preventing it from overheating. Okay, so, but if you could do a negative number versus a positive, or is it always a positive number? So if you did 20, it would be minus 20. Is that right? Yeah, Windows 10 LTSC is going to be like for all these kiosks, and those things have support until 2031 already. So Microsoft's already doing Windows updates. They're committed until 2031. So it doesn't make sense to me like they wouldn't even just sit there and run Windows Pro, and home updates. A formula could be seen as a limit, 100 minus offset. Oh. So if 100 degrees is the top and you said minus 20 or 20, then you would only get to 80, which means that it would definitely go slow. But if you had a minus 10, so then you have it where it hits 90 instead. Interesting. TCC can only be positive. I get it now because the offset's a minus already. Because minus plus a plus is a minus. Negative plus a positive is a negative. Okay, so we're booting into the test operating system. The goal with this is to see if, he says it's a fresh install anyway, so it shouldn't matter. But we want to keep an eye on our wattage here. We're staying high. 200s, 200s, 200s. Should have all the drivers installed because this installs awesome. Hydrate, Nathan. Am I slowing down? Am I getting crazy? Crazy Nate needs some water. With the water. All right, so that is all working. Got all the drivers there. I got one Cirrus Logic speaker amp error, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, so we're staying at a higher CPU speed. And 3.4, 3.5, whatever it takes. I guarantee Microsoft will extend it all the way to 2031. Yeah, because they just pushed it another year. It was supposed to end in 2026, September 2026, and then now September 2077, or not September, October. So yeah, they're just going to keep pushing it every day. Because there's so many people that are still on it. All right, so we just keep getting 371. So we're almost up to 4 gigahertz, but we're not maxing out. But you see that wattage is staying really high. Now I want to disable the GPU real quick and just see if that drops that wattage back down. I want to see how much the GPU is actually using out of that wattage. GPU disabled. So still look at it. And staying in the hundreds. So the GPU wasn't even pulling that. But earlier, maybe with that offset, I wonder if, for science, we can go back and put that offset on there and see if that thing drops back down. But we're seeing that. Okay, so I'm just going to unplug it, run it on battery, and I'm just going to hit Prime 95. Go. And I have the GPU turned off. I just want to see what it does with this. So Prime 95 runs prime numbers till infinity. So it maxes out all the cores, and it's running on battery, so it's only pulling 2.4 gigahertz. Now it's 1.8, 1.7. Using a lot of CPU for idle. I don't know, maybe you're still installing some stuff in the background. Wow, I cannot believe. 0 watts. Yeah, because I unplugged it. I unplugged it. It's on battery right now. But look at this. Now it's dropping down. It originally was at 100%, and now it's dropping back down. But it's staying on. And so, Cindy, do we have to run the firm mark in order to get the battery shut off at the same time? You got to use all the power you got. Okay. All right. So let me turn the GPU back on. Remember, we're still running firm mark here. We're only using half the CPU at this point. And turning the GPU back on. It's not shutting down, but we haven't started up firm mark yet. Try running GPU tests. No, I don't even think I have Command Center on here. Oh, I do. But it probably isn't running anything special. Okay. Oh, right as I opened the GPU test is when it shut off. So right as so prior to that, prior to me even starting the GPU up, it wasn't shutting off. I enabled the GPU, and then right when I went to go start the GPU test is when it shut off. All right. Let me think about this. So we were looking at this. So all these battery cells here, you can see they're equally warm. So I don't think the battery is the issue. I don't think it's a battery issue in general. I think it's going to be something, either the board is pulling an extra amount that it doesn't like, so an extra amount of current, so it's having a voltage drop on something else. We kind of need to pull the board and run it with the motherboard on the desk, and so we can see the components on the other side of the board. Let me grab a donor board so we can actually see what's on the other side, because I want to see the MOSFETs that I want to look at. So R2 is this board. So here's the R2 version of the board. The R1 has a chipset here. The R2 has a chipset built onto the CPU itself. And so we're in this orientation like that. So you can see all these MOSFETs here. We flip it over, and here's all of our battery MOSFET stuff. So let me put this off to the side. So here's our power management chip. Wait, is that it? No, that's not it, is it? Interesting. Oh, yeah, it's a 9241H. I was like, I thought that said 3241H. I was like, I've never even heard of a 3241H. So it's a 9241H. I have new ones of those, and those are power sharing chips. And so next to this, we have, this is going to be the 3 volt and 5 volt power rails. This is the charge coil. So these are going to be the MOSFETs. And I guarantee one of these are bad. It has to be. It's going to have to be one of these. So the only way to see this actually in action is to have the board running. But the problem is that the heatsink covers all of this up. It actually goes over all of this. So I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. If I flip the board over, it's going to be in this area where this Tron light is. So maybe we can do it with it on and then kind of look at this area and see if we get extra heat on the backside of this. But this charge coil, this is the charge coil. It actually has a little heatsink pad on this side, or a piece of metal bracket here. And then the MOSFET that switches on before it goes in through the current sense resistors right here, and that's the one I'm thinking could be messed up in a way, but who knows? It's going to be right underneath this thing here. So this is a hard one. It could be a bad power management chip too. We could just change it out and see if it fixes it, but I don't think it is. I think it's more of a MOSFET most likely when it comes down to a situation like this. Hang in there, hang in there. So let's see how we want to handle this. So if we go back to his actual computer here, so this is that charge coil. which I've never actually taken this off before. Let's see. Yeah, so you see that's the back side of the charge coil, but next to it's going to be the MOSFETs on the other side of the board. So if we see excess heat in this area, then we know some issue. But this is only going to get hot while it's charging, so it's the other MOSFETs that we're worried about. That's when it's discharging. I can't remember if I put this on the last cleaning, PTM. Okay, so you should have PTM on there, right? PTM, nothing but the best. You didn't reload liquid metal on this one? What's going on there, Pots people? You have only 320 likes. That ain't enough. That ain't enough, guys. All right, I'm going to turn this thing back on, and we're going to pay attention to this area. I'm not going to worry about those MOSFETs right there, but we want to see over in this area right here. So I'm going to boot it back up. Man, why does liquid metal kill so many laptops? Well, it killed this laptop more than any other laptop, actually, because this one they overflowed the reservoirs, or it has a little dam, but they put too much on there because it was just like, all right, we got a new technology. We're going to put this on this laptop, but I want to put enough on there. So they put so much on there, it was like overflowing and leaking out. I mean, there's so many of these machines where I just opened it up and it was just like flinging around. So then the next generation, they decided to put too little on it. So, you know, what can you do? What can you do? You could just not put it on there. How's that? I think that's the best option. That's the best option, man. All right. So let's try this again. Uh-oh. My spike meter crashed. It's not responding. I might need to kill the Python app. Ooh, uh-oh. All right, we're booted up on battery. Back in here. So if we just, I'm going to start with just Prime 95 because I want to see what's getting hot. I don't want to necessarily start the GPU test yet. But we're going to go like this. Flip it over. We're going to go thermal. So right here's where we want to look. Okay, so we have, this is going to be kind of hard to see. Okay, so that's the charge coil. The MOSFETs that I want to see is on the other side of the board right in this area, but I think you can see the, that's the chip on the SSD. That's funny. But I can't tell what's getting hot. Like right under here is really hot. Right underneath this cable. Yeah, again, I can't tell. It's just too hard. It's too diffuse. You know, it's like maybe if I blow some air on it and see if I can get. Sorry for the noise, guys. I don't know. I think the machine shut off just now. I think it's off. And that's it. The blaster, the Gooch Blaster 5000. Yeah, the machine shut off. So I don't know. I don't know. This is you've got me stumped here, Senan. You got me stumped. Yeah, I don't. I'm thinking that the best route would be to actually replace all of the MOSFETs on the charge circuit in that area, which would be the two MOSFETs that charge the battery, and then the one that actually depletes it, that actually runs the board, and that might be the good starting point. But you can also measure across them, because the ones I'm looking at are these MOSFETs that are on the back side, and I guess if you pull the board out and look at it, but if we look at the, it's going to be, I can't remember which one it is, but it's going to be one of these two here, because you have it where if you're going by the last stream that we had where we had one of those shorted out, it was like this one or this one. is before it went into this current sense resistor, because this is the charge coil. So I think this is probably the one that actually produces the 12.6, and then these are, this will be maybe the comeback one, and this is the one that turns on to flow into this current sense resistor to run the board. So this one may be bad, for all I know. You know, this is our test board though, so which you just measure it in all directions. But replacing it would be the easiest thing to just test by changing that out and seeing if it fixes it. If you want me to do that, I can do that. Huh? You want me to you want me to do that? Definitely pull it apart. All right, so let me shut it down. Let me pull the board out, and then we'll see if we can just change out one of those MOSFETs on there. See if it fixes it. For science, of course. Maybe normal PWM duty cycle, I guess 70%, but GPU is 90 or 95. MOSFET can't handle it. Maybe. I mean, but again, if it's like one of the situations where the MOSFET's just out of spec or getting hot or shorting out or something like that, that's what I've seen. So, get all these screws taken out. My favorite part, taking screws out, having you watch. For science. A weak MOSFET, I don't know if it's weak or not. You know, if it's like the other day, it was one that actually was partially shorted and doing a voltage drop on it. So, but it's hard. It's hard because it's all on the other side and it's under a heatsink. So it's really hard for you to be able to identify stuff. All right. Luckily, I've taken this apart a million times, so I know where all the screws are. This is not usual. Fan mods. This one doesn't have fan mods because it's already modded. The way that this one's built, it actually blows air straight down the middle. I think it's one of the best designs, actually, of all the models. Is it has 4 fans, and 2 of the fans are actually blowing towards the center. It keeps the RAMs cool, and it keeps the SSDs cool. So I don't know why they decided not to continue with that design. They have form and function. All right. Should get $1 for every screw you have to take out. Ooh, that'd be nice. The old bonus. I hate whenever you have to sit there and watch it, though. It takes forever. Amen. Newer ones are built to be obsolete. That's why, yeah, it's planned obsolescence. They can't be the battery, right? These are brand new OEM batteries. It literally, it can't be. You know, it originally was working, or did resolve the issue at least temporarily. Because you had this issue originally, but it was running at the same time. It was when you were running on the charger, though, when it was doing it before. No, it was the same thing? Okay. But it did fix it for a while. Yeah. Yep, so. All right. Gotta find the secret screws. 2 weeks after warranty. It's the taillight special. No, it's I give a year warranty on everything, and I don't get a year warranty from Dell, so that's how that works. Liquid metal pumps. We had a new Aurora 16 that came in today, or 18, I can't remember, that had liquid metal on it. And that thing could not keep all the cores cool, and we ended up putting PTM on it, and now that thing is like, every core stays within range. So liquid metal is crazy, because it probably works really well in certain conditions, but I feel like it just spreads out. It doesn't stay flat on the die for long periods of time. So I don't really understand. You take a bucket of liquid metal from that kid. Okay, got that. All right, and the motherboard is out. Oh, we can actually access this. Nice, nice. Let me see if I can get a test screen and we can just use that. Yeah, it's not too dirty. Looks good. It's nice and clean. So here's that circuitry we're talking about. So these are the MOSFETs that I'm concerned with. So perfect. We can actually access them. I was worried that it was going to be underneath the heatsink, but it's not. So we're going to be able to power it on with a battery. Let me pull his battery out. And we'll try to boot it up on the desk under the thermal camera, and we'll be able to see exactly how much heat's coming off of those MOSFETs. And hopefully, Bob will be your uncle pretty quickly. He came in late. This is the first one. No, we fixed the M1730 from 2007. Guess what? It was a physics processor. You should have known. Okay, so we got that. Here, let me grab a screen so I don't have to use your system. All right, so we'll just set this up on the bench, on the desk, because we're crazy, and then we'll go thermal. Going thermal. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to hook a screen up. All right, battery. Actually, I'm going to flip it over first. Like that. You guys ready for this? It's pure chaos, I tell you. Okay, I'm going to plug this in right here. Maybe. Good. Okay. Well, the problem is I have to turn it on the other side. Darn it. The power button's on the other side of the board. So in order to get all this stuff lined up properly, I have to kind of jimmy it around. But we can do it. All right, let's see if we get picture. Nope, it's not turning on yet. There we go. We have picture. I can't believe. All right, so there you go. So you can see we got picture. Now I need a keyboard. But let me get this thermal camera lined up on those MOSFETs. Yep. Look at that. It's pretty freaking hot, people. Where's my keyboard at? So you can already see the heat right here. We're not pulling very much current at this moment, but I can already see that current sense resistor is like burning hot, and then right next to it is the MOSFET, and then the comeback MOSFET, which is the MOSFET that connects the battery to the main power rail. And so when I plug in the charger, that should actually cool back down. So I'm trying to plug a keyboard in. Hold on. It's hard to get this lined up. Come on. Okay, keyboard's plugged in. Okay. All right, so now I can hit enter to continue on this quest. All right, so we're going to boot the Windows. Just keep an eye right here. This is what we want. So do you see what I see? 50, 60. That's it. That's the same MOSFET issue. Same MOSFET issue. 60 we got 60 right here. So now let's start like a fur mark or something. Okay. Can't see what I'm doing. Here, I need to hook up. No, I don't have a mouse. Trying to work my way around with a keyboard only with no mouse. It's quite frustrating. Okay, well, let me try Prime 95 instead because I can't get the fur mark working. Prime 95. Okay, Prime 95 is running. Nope, it's not running. There it is. Okay, 60. So we're staying at 60. I just want to see how hot that's going to get there. And we can also measure the voltage now. We'll see if the voltage is dipping very low. Look, we're down to 9.6 volts, 9.9, 9.8, 9.6. You see that? And I bet that's why it's shutting off, is because it's getting down to the low 9s. Now, when you have this thing at 100% charge, does it actually work? Does it stay on longer when it's at 50% versus not 100%? And if I measure this side, we got 10 volts on this side of the MOSFET. You can't really see what I'm doing, but got 10 volts on this side, or 9.8. If I measure this side, got 9.9 solid. All right, so what I'm seeing here, 9.8, it's staying. Here, let me zoom in for you guys. Okay, so I'm measuring on these MOSFETs right here. So this one right here, I believe, is coming off the battery. Not 100% though. I don't know which way it is, but right here we're getting a very low voltage, 9.7 volts. If I measure off this side, 9.7, 9.7. This one's 9.8. Oh, keep pushing off to the side, 9.8. First live. Hey, WP, you made it. I'm glad. We've been waiting for you. Thank you for that. So 9.8. So, which it's actually staying on at this point, but 9.8. But at first, this thing was jumping down to actually, what was it jumping down to? 9.3 or something. So I believe this is. You think so? I can't tell. I get fans on. Oh, but I don't have the second set of fans. 3 volts and 5 volts are there, but that's going to be fine. And then 5 volts there. So I don't know, we have a temperature of 60 degrees C in this area, 63. And you can see that this one's hotter than the other one. So it's mainly in this area. It almost looks like current sensor resistor, but this one right here is really hot. So this is the one that I'd probably want to replace. Is what I'm thinking. If we wanted to replace one just to see if it fixes it, would be this B04N03. The vein of my existence at this point. I hate these chips. I hate them. Hate them. So I've been replacing these with these Infineon chips, which seem to be a lot more reliable, and they're lower internal resistance, so they don't get as hot. So I can replace both of these right here. There we go. So it just shut off. Or no, it's just the screen went to sleep. Okay, so it's not too bad. So 66. The battery's hot though. I can feel the battery. So look how hot the battery is. But it's all even heat. Like the cable's really hot right here. The cable's at 59. But all the cells are pretty equal. What's the gate voltage? Let's see what the gate voltage is. I can't tell. Is it this one right here? I gotta be very careful. 14 on the gate and 9.8. And then we'll check this gate voltage. This one right here. 14 and 9.7. So Anyway, so that's where I think I want to start, is just change these two guys out and then see if it resolves the issue. What do you think? What do you think, guys? I think that's what we're going to do. The cable's hot. It is spicy. Cable is spicy. I don't know. I'm assuming it's supposed to get that hot. 60 degrees. Seems a little spicy, though. I wonder if changing the cable would do something, too. Because we can actually measure the voltage coming straight out of the battery right here on these. I can't move the board over very much. But right here on these inductors, let's measure where the voltage is coming straight out of the battery. 9.8, so it's the same voltage. What if we change the battery cable? Yeah. Can we get it over here? So I'm getting 9.9 on the battery itself, 9.94, and then on the motherboard itself is 9.84. So we have a 0.1 voltage drop across this hot, spicy cable. Whether that's normal or not, I have no idea. I mean, that cable is spicy, though. So, all right, let me shut this thing down. There we go. Shut down. The fastest shutdown in the West. All right, so what do we want to do? Do we want to change out the cable first, or do we want to change out those MOSFETs? Democracy, go. Heck, replace the chips. Replace the first chips first, then the cable. Cable. All right, scope it out. Scope it? What are we scoping? You guys want to scope? Cable's quick. Cable is quick. You want to do cable first? The fastest. Yeah. It is the, I know. We can just change it out whenever we have one. So let's see. Cable. Let's grab one of these guys. Wait. No, what's next? X17. I'm trying to find a cable, guys. Let's see. Oh, that's how much delay there is? Should be only like 30 seconds. All right. There we go. All right, got brand new cable. Never been used before by anybody right here. So, see if this fixes it. See if this cable's not as spicy. A spicy meatball. Chips and salsa. It has extra habanero. Okay. Got that plugged in. Oh, I need to plug my keyboard back in. Oh, shouldn't have unplugged it. Place the cable first. I'm only doing the cable first because it takes 2 seconds. So why did I ask you in the first place? I don't know, but I'm doing it. All right, so now we get to do the old juggle here to turn it on. Be careful. Shoot. Refresh the screen. If you have a delay, just refresh the screen. And the count. All right, see if I can get this turned on again. Power button's in a very precarious place here. Okay, let's see if that works. Scope the PWM signal. So on those, it's not a PWM because it's just a chip that's on or off. And this is my test screen's a crappy screen, just so you know. So don't worry about that. Nothing to see here. So it's not a PWM, it's just a signal on or off. So 14 volts. I don't think it should be pulsing. I don't think there's a PWM on that thing. Because it's not producing voltage on it, it's just telling it to turn on or not. Okay. Going thermal. Okay, this cable, 50, 60, whatever it takes. 64, 65, 66. It's even spicier. 67. Wow. 67, 67. Okay, so it got up to 6.7. I pushed it in a little bit more to make sure that it was really seated in there. Stop with the 6.7. This is crazy though. I feel like we need a fatter cable. I think we need to create our own cable, battery cable company. We'll call it Fat Cable. I hate 6.7. Well, 7, 8, 9, right? Okay. Just kidding. All right. So we have on the battery itself a measure. This is going straight to the board. 10.4 volts on the battery itself. There's 10.3, 10.4, 6, 4, 5. We are getting a little bit of dipping. Oh, my ground is bad. There we go. 10.4, 10.3, moving around. I haven't started anything yet. 10 to connection here. Okay, so MOSFETs bring back the monster cable. Oh yeah, we should have LTT store make like a high-powered cable here. Okay, 48. So now it's not even, it's hot. All right, so let's start Prime 95 back up. Prime, go. Torture started. Okay, temperature is rising. Cable doesn't, but this is, look how hot this is now. Look at that. This is the MOSFET I want to change out, is this one right here. And it got up to 78 for a second. Do you think that's hot enough? I bet it started seeing that the battery was dipping down. Yeah. At 9.5. I should have actually started Prime 95 while I'm measuring this, so I can see what the voltage drop was. Let me see if I can end this. How do I end it? Alt. Wait, no. Alt. I don't have a mouse. Alt T. Okay. 0. Stop. Stop all workers. Okay, so I stopped it. Our voltage went back up. MOSFET's throwing throwing up their hands. Okay, so you guys pay attention to the voltage. Okay, it's at 10.3 volts. Okay, so I'm going to start the workers back up. How do I do that? Can't see what I'm doing. Okay, Option Alt O, maybe. Yep, torture test. T. Start torture test. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. 9 volt, 8.6, 8.4, 8.1. Wow. 78, 79, 80, 79. Whoa. Okay. And I can feel the battery getting hot. And then now it's at 9.5. So why did it drop down? Why did it brown out that far but the machine that shut off right when it starts? That's crazy. All right, let's change out those MOSFETs. That's what I'm going to do. Let me stop this torture test. It's torturing me. Okay, what is it? T, E. Can't figure out how to kill it. Stop. Okay. It's taking too much power. All right, so we're going to replace this MOSFET. I'm going to replace both of those with the new Infineon chips. They're higher, well, the same wattage or same many amps, but then it has a lower internal resistance, so it actually run cooler. And I've been using that for these B04 and 03 replacements, and they work great. So that's where we're going to go with next. So I'm going to put your cable back on while I'm thinking about it, so I don't get them mixed. So your cable is back on your battery. Your battery's right there. Okay. All right. 867 5309. You guys are silly. Okay, meh, just remove half the cores. All right, so I'm going to try to replace this with the heatsink still on. That'll be easier. Over D. That stopped hobby electronics a long time ago and started again after a binge watching a bunch of your videos. Well, I'm sorry about that. Nice to watch it live. Thanks for reflowing the cold solder joints in my brain. Well, thank you so much for that. 10 R's. Is it Ruby or was that? Where's that from? Where are you from? Okay. So let's pull these guys off. So I'm only going to do the B04 and 03s. My nemesis. What I don't like about these is you can't order them. You can order them fake if you want, all day long. You can get them as fake as you want. All right. So I'm just going to replace both of these. And I bet we're going to be good to go. MOSFET time. Get this guy first. Got a second. So these are what I'm using as my B04 and 03 substitutes. These are Infineon chips. You can order from Mouser. They're OEM, and they are super efficient. Okay, so if you want to go order some yourself, there's the number. So we're going to pull these two guys off. I'm just going to pull a pack or two of them, and then we'll tin them, and then install them. All right, so we always want to make sure we have a little bit of fresh solder on here, so we have enough to kind of marry the chip to the board. We'll put a little flux on here first. Did he get some noise canceling? Does it sound like noise canceling? No, my microphone broke, so we're using my room mic. And I don't know, do people like it better? It's kind of strange to me. Probably sounds a little different. I've always kept the noise on because personally I think having the sound of the hot air and the sound of the air, whatever you call it, where it sucks the bad air out of here, having all that stuff running kind of makes it feel like you're part of it. Whenever you have it disappear, and or dryer, it doesn't sound good. So anyway, I'm going to set this aside, and then we're going to get those installed. Starting to lose my mind, people. Starting to lose my mind. All right, so pin one's here. I usually don't even look for pin one. I just kind of look at the way the pins are laid out on this. So I go like that. I'll preheat the board and set down in place. The vacuum. Soren's box. I got these from Soren's box. The Mouser edition of Soren's box. Well, that was tacked on there. Let's put this one in the right place. Put this over. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Now, if this doesn't fix it, I have no idea. I have no clue. Okay, so now that we have this tacked, I'm going to add a little bit of flux just to make the room smell a little bit better. Ties the room together. And make sure to do a little tap on it. That one has a little extra solder underneath. So I'm going to push out the extra solder. Wait for it to cool off. Nice. So pretty. Okay. All right, so now it's time for a poll, guys. Now it's time for you to tell me if this is going to fix it. I have no idea if it is. So, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but it seems pretty logical. So there's a pole running there. Will it fix it? You can be honest. That's fine. It won't hurt my feelings. If you don't think I have the capabilities of figuring this one out. Hell, I don't even know if I figured this out. All right, we got to make this pretty and clean. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Pretty nice. So let's get my desktop built back up here. You trust me. You trust my expertise. My expertise. Yeah, I need an extra. Like I have a mouse right here, but I don't. There's only one USB on the back of this thing. That's what's messing me up. Yeah, there's only. Oh, there's 2 USB-Cs. I can actually hook a mouse from here. Let me see if I can grab one. You have 2 USB-Cs in the back. Where's my other USB-C adapter? Here it is. Okay. So now I can hook a mouse up. We're really doing some high technology now. Yeah. Yeah, they're on the sides though. They're not on the back. It's on that other daughter board, so there's no USB-As to be heard of right now or seen. All right, let's get this plugged in. All right, so we'll have a mouse and a keyboard when we boot back up. Because I have 2 USB-A to C adapters. Okay, so this keyboard's going to be here. This battery. So back to your battery. Back to the original battery cable. And this is a new battery, so I'm not going to get a new battery to test with because he's already replaced the battery once. And so, okay, so we're going to turn that on. I'm going to plug in my USBs here. We have picture I can't believe. Okay, nice. See if my mouse works. Let's power it on. There we go. We got a mouse. All right, we have mouse. We have keyboard. We have computer, desktop. And are those blazing hot? I need to get them in my view. Let me move this over. 50. So it's still at 50. So that's not good. But as long as it doesn't go to 70, I think we're okay, right? 64. Looks about the same to me, people. 76, 73. 68. Is it hot? I put my finger on it. I'm not supposed to touch it when I put my finger on it. Yes, it's still hot. Battery's still at 60, or battery cable at 60, 56. All right, so now I got a mouse. So let me open up Prime 95 again. And it already shut off. What voltage is this battery at now? I don't know. What do we think? So now it's already shut off. It's too hot. I don't think it's too hot. I'm trying to think of what else. It went up to 70. You just saw it go up to 70, but did it brown out again? I don't know. We weren't measuring the voltage at the same time, so we don't know if it's a voltage issue with it getting too low. Current sense resistor. You know, it could be that. It could be that sensing that it's pulling less current, so then it tries to pull more from the battery, which makes it go down. The thing works fine on charger, so the system's working fine. It has to do with running off a battery, and it's pulling too much current from the battery. That's what I think. And so then the battery's either telling it to shut off, so the battery's going into like protection and shutting off. And I think that's kind of what's going on, is the battery's shutting off. But why is the board allowing it to take that much current or pulling that much from it? So that's something I have to kind of think about. And so it could be where we have to replace the current sense resistors and the sensing line. So on these power management chips, they have a current sensor resistor right here. So we have this. So this could be out of spec, but you also have the lines that come over to the power management chip itself. And I think it's these two guys, I believe. And let me see what voltages or what resistances those are. And so if those are just a little bit out, then they won't match right. We won't actually measure properly. Let's try it again. Oh my gosh, I keep slipping. All right, 2.07. So that's like a 2.0. This says 3 on it, so I don't know what the measurement's supposed to be on that. My tips are kind of whacked out here. 2.8, 2.1. It's like you have to press really hard. Okay, so that's 0. So let me get a test board and see what that's supposed to actually measure, because that seems wrong. Don't you think? It says 3. It should be 3. The battery's unplugged. Okay. Could be another cap on the physics card. Could be. Could be onto something. So 2.07. So why does this say 3? Does that say 3dy or 30y? I don't know what that measurement's supposed to be. This says 2.1. Does anyone know? Anyone smart out there? Should be a 3, not a 2. Yeah, this one's measuring 2 also. Now we're in circuit, so it could have something in parallel with it, but... Okay, so 0y equals 2. Logically, that's what... That engineer who came up with that naming scheme was really smart that day. Can you tell me why that is? So this one... So they're both measuring fine. I don't know. Tony, you got me stumped. Or Senan, sorry. You got me stumped, buddy. Check the carburetor. Check the carburetor. Okay, so I guess the next step, let's just change out some stuff. That's the only other thing we can do. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. We have a donor board. We can change this guy out. We can change out both these resistors, and then we can test, and then we can change out the power management chip and test. Those are kind of the last few things I would think of that would actually cause this issue, because the rest of the stuff is not doing anything, right? So it's not the charge circuit, so it's not actually charging the battery. That's not the issue, and it's not any of these other things that are causing the thing to run itself. It just has to do with like having it measure how much current's actually coming out. Tazzy! First thing I've learned from you was to check the whole board, both sides, up and down for rabbit holes. Tazzy, you're killing me. You're right, you're right. But I think that, Zenon, you've looked all over this board, right? You don't see any issues with it.
No special chart.
No special, nothing obvious. We can do a little gander. We can go for a little walk. Go for a little bit of a walk here. Because the thing actually works, we got flux over here. What do we have flux over here for? Look at that. That's interesting. That's the EC chip there. What else we got? So this is going to be for the Tron lights, like all the alien heads and stuff like that. There's our PD controller. That's the 3-volt and 5-volt power rails. There's not too much to see underneath this here. Give him the donor board and call it a day. Yes, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to give him the donor board. All right, let me just, for science, I'm just interested. My curiosity loop just needs to be closed. So I'm going to pull this off, this current sense resistor, and we'll replace that. And I'm going to replace these two guys, and then we'll boot back up again. All right. Now, I don't know how low this battery is. It could be almost dead at this point. So I guess we could check that too. Yeah, we'll look in the BIOS and check that. Replace the current sense resistor. Yep, I concur. All right, so that's what we're going to go with. Let me turn this around. So I'm trying to get the air to blow this way because I don't want to end up melting any of the plastic stuff under here. The battery's unplugged. Yeah, a 30Y, a 30Y equals 2 ohms. So smart. Do the battery first. We already did the battery. Close one. Oh, thanks. Wrong mouse here. Oops. All right, got to close that pull out. Okay, got that. All right, so let's pull this thing off of here. So we're going to pull off the current sense resistor. The job of the current sense resistor is to see how much current's coming out of the battery going into the board. But because we have 2 lines attached to either side of that, going through these 2 resistors and then coming over to the power management chip, we're going to replace these 2. So if this is out of spec, that's out of spec, or this is out of spec, then we're going to have a bad measurement with the power management chip, which could cause it to think that either less current or more current is coming out of the battery, which should trick it into running a little bit wrong. Now, this is an R003, so it's a 300 milliohm resistor. All right, come on. There we go. Get off of there. And this thing was getting pretty hot. Also, it was one of the things getting hot. I'm sure it's fine, but you never know. Never 0. And then our 2 ohm, perfect name. Since we have a donor, we can just transfer that stuff right across. So I'm going to start with these small guys here. Okay, got that one. Check those traces. Make sure they're connected. Might be kind of smart. Packing that in place. Now you'll see these little spots in the middle? That's what these are connected to over here. So these are the main battery connections going through the outsides, and the insides are tapping off and going over here so this chip can read it. Now I'll straighten these up in a second. I'm just going to get everything tacked in place. I think the coil could be bad. Is that what you said? I don't know. I haven't seen a coil bad before. But I guess anything can be bad. It's all bad. All right, so we'll grab this guy. It's interesting how it's only soldered on the ends and not in the middle. By design? What if we added more solder to it? Do you think that would make it better? Do you think it will allow it to pull more current? I understand why it doesn't have that much solder. Okay. We're good to go. This thing's been upgraded from Soren's box of brand new chips. What is an ISL chip? So what is an ISL chip? So ISL is the manufacturer of this. It's Intercell. That's the chip right there. It's a power management chip. And it controls the MOSFETs that protect the laptop from itself, more or less, if it sees a short or whatever. But it also controls MOSFETs, which MOSFETs are just more or less like a on-off switch, and it produces the voltage to charge the battery and keeps track of charging the battery and things like that. So, but whenever they just call it the ISL chip, or they're called the BQ chip, BQ is also another manufacturer of chips. So Dell usually uses ISLs or intercell chips, and so that's what they're talking about. Capiche? Good question. All right. All right, we don't have to do a poll, but if you want to put 1 in the chat that says, I'm awesome and I fixed the problem, or if you put 2 in the chat and says, you don't know what you're talking about and you just keep randomly changing out stuff, do that. All right? 1, if I fixed it, and 2, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I guess option 3 is the whole thing's going to explode. Got some 1s in there. Got some 1s and 2s. Got a little bit of faith. A little bit of faith. Sinan's back there kind of worried about what I'm doing over here, I'm sure, but we'll see. All right. Plug in these. Turn it back on. We got 1.27. 3.14. 3.14. Is this gonna work? We're turning on? Will the laptop blow up? Wait for me to trigger it on. Don't spam. Don't do too many. Who's that? So someone just honked their horn outside my building. Is there someone out there? Are you serious? All right. Someone just sent me a pizza. The pizza has arrived, apparently. Did someone... Domino's? What? Someone just sent me a pizza. That's crazy. Well, appreciate that. Yeah. I think his battery's dead. I think we need to charge his battery back up. Nate's Pizza Party. Nate's a pizza party. It's me, Nate, and this is my pizza party. Yeah. You just gotta pull the door because it kind of sticks. So you pull it so then it can turn the lock. All right, so I think his battery's dead. That would make sense why it shut off. So do you think we had already fixed it? I don't know. I don't know that stuff, but it won't turn on with his battery anymore because his battery's dead, I think. So we're going to put my battery in here. What distribution of Linux do you have? I use Linux Mint at home. I did use Navarra for a while, but it's usually going to be Debian-based, Ubuntu-based in general. I like Xubuntu too, but I tend to go right back to Mint every time because it's just it's a simple UI. It's clean, works fine. Looks fine. Hey, that's better. Look, 42. 42 is much better. Yeah. Here, hold on, guys. I'll be back. Just got a look at this, a pizza party. So I just had a pizza show up. Who was the one who sent this? Paul? Who was this? Who just sent me a pizza? Someone just sent me a pizza. I appreciate it. I'm gonna have to clean my hands though to eat it though. It's crazy. Lock the door. Lock the door. I've had a lot of horns honking out there. This is the first stream I've ever had where I've had someone here in the building with me to help me out, which is useful. So I'm glad that I have Sinan to be my sidekick while I'm working on his machine. All right. But I could tell you right now that it's colder in this area. Look at this. 51. So your battery's dead. So that's why this is my battery. But this thing is automatically, it only got up to 45 a second ago. So now let's see if we get it up to higher than that. 54, 56. Did it just shut off? What's the voltage now? That'd be a good point. Let me check the voltage. This battery may be dead too, for all I know. Easy pizza. Brought your donuts and kolaches. Yeah, Jack brought me a whole bunch of donuts and kolaches earlier this week. Thank you for that, Jack. Battery's at 11 volts. So this battery should be fine to boot up. So let me turn it back on again. It's a pain to turn this thing on because the power button's on the other side of the board. So every time I have to try to like finagle this thing up here. All right, so let's see. So we can turn this back on. I'm going to try to go into a menu so I can see what the battery charge is on this thing. Bring the cookies to them. All right. Cancel test. What we got? What we got? Okay, so battery at 58%. So, interesting. This is interesting. Look at your last super chat. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Try to keep up with this stuff, guys. Where can I find my super chats at? Where are they at? I don't have like a good super chat list. Oh, you're welcome. Nobody. Wait, nobody. Did you send it? You're welcome. Enjoy. Oh, so nobody sent it. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Okay, so the battery here is at 58%, 57%, my battery. So it's pulling, God, I wish I could put this in an angle so you can see it. It's pulling 6.8 amps out of the battery. Can you see it? Don't worry about the screen, it's crappy. 6.6 amps out of the battery, which is a lot. And I would not want it to pull more than that. I would say that these type of batteries, you'd max out around 7 amps. You know what I mean? It says right here it maxed out at 5.4. It's kind of weird. Or the low, 6.9. So, oh yeah, let's see what kind of pizza it is. I didn't even see. Oh, it's just a pepperoni pizza. All classy. I'm going to wash my hands in order to eat some pizza. Did you want a piece? No, okay. So let me exit out of this and see if we can get back into Windows. But at this point, I don't even see it able to get in the Windows. Our favorite, old pepperoni. You're muted for spamming. We don't want people spamming. All right, keep an eye on this. Oh, we should measure the voltage. Measure the voltage. Can't get to it. It just shut off. I can't even get the windows now. All right, let me plug in a DC jack into this thing. But this is with my battery. And my batteries, all my test batteries are going to be crappy batteries that are just kind of leftover old ones. that are not necessarily good. So I'm not that worried about it. So 1 amp, 6800, 6.8 amps, 7,000 milliamps, 7. Yeah, you're doing some math there. It's called moving the decimal point. Replace the MOSFET with mozzarella pizza cheese. Okay, let me charge these batteries back up here. Okay, plug it back in. I kind of want to go back to his battery because his battery's gonna be better than this battery. This is a rabbit hole we got into here. Damn, Nate has pizza and he's trying to get a quick snack before bed. I know, I need it. My hands are like covered in flux though. It's hard to eat pizza when it's covered in flux. All right, so this thing is in fast charging mode. Do you have this in ultra charging mode? Because it's charging at 86 watts in the BIOS. Because that's pretty high. Oh, primary AC use pushes at that, huh? Interesting. Yeah, so there's different charge settings in the BIOS on these things, and so if you put it at like standard, it's like 25 watts charge, and if you put it at like quick charge, it's like 100 watts or something like that. All right, I'm gonna get in the BIOS so we can see what it's set at. Extra flavor, extra flavor. Okay. Sometimes your diet just has to be flexible. Pepperoni flavored flux. That will be the newest one. All right, so let's see what the power. No, wait, security power. See if I can find the power options. Nope. Performance, maintenance, battery configuration, primary AC use. Yeah, so it's on primary AC use. Advanced battery charge mode disabled. Okay. I'm going to boot in the diagnostics. I just want to see what his battery's at because this battery was, I think, dead basically because it wasn't even turning on with it. And we were really fluxing it up. I have a 330 watt plugged in right now. I need to plug my mouse back in. Can't stand you. Taste of flux with your pizza today. All right, here we go. All right. Oh, his battery's at 54% also. Interesting. All right, let me put the windows. I have no idea what's going on here. So apparently I made it worse. Luckily we have all his components so we can put it right back the way it was. Put it back stock. All right, so look at the current meter, 14.68. Oh, I know. I mean, it has a 330 watt charger. This thing can pull up to 16.5 watts. Gigawatts, that is. The power management chip next. Yeah, but why is the stuff I'm putting on there making it worse? So this is off the charger. Just want to look at temperatures real quick, make sure our temperatures look okay. Battery voltage detection issue. That's what I was thinking. That's why we changed out those components. So temperatures are fine. There's a couple cores hitting 100 for a second and then backing off. So that's not a big deal. So I'm not going to touch anything. I'm just going to unplug the charger and just seeing if it stays on. So it's staying on, but I'm going to plug it back in. I want to see what voltage we're at when we're doing this. So let me move this back a little bit so I can put this battery in the right spot. Okay, voltage on the battery right now is 12.5. Unplug the charger. It dipped to 9.5 for a second. So 10.6, 9.7, 10.6. Yeah, I mean, you guys can see it too. I don't need to say it out loud, I guess. Okay, that's on the battery connector. Now I'm going to come over here to our current sense resistor on the battery. 12.5, unplug it. Still doing the same thing. And then what's the temperature? $59, $60, whatever it takes. All right, so we turn on a stress test tool. Can't see. Okay, you guys pay attention to the voltage I'm measuring and the temperatures. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 9.1 for a second, 8.6. And we're up to 80 degrees on that MOSFET. Stop. I just stopped it. So we still made it up to 80 degrees on that MOSFET that we replaced. That's supposed to actually stay cooler. So I don't know. The answer is I have no idea, because we actually replaced both those MOSFETs with MOSFETs that have a lower internal resistance, so it shouldn't get as hot in general, and it hit 80 degrees. But I can put my finger on it, so it's not burning my finger off. Huh. Why is it not burning my finger off? Yet it says 80 degrees.
Still 80.
I mean... Oh, wrong one. It says 54. Can't tell which one it is. Yeah, it's that one. It's definitely the one that I thought it was. Okay, so I'm going to turn it back on again. $72. Ooh! 72, 75, 77, 70. But it's interesting because it starts out like right when you start it, it dips. The voltage dips really low, and then it kind of gradually comes back up. So it's at 10.3, and then right as I start it, it will drop to 8.6 for a second. 8.4, 8.0. I just stopped it again. I don't know, dude. I'm going to have to think about this one. So what I would think I would want to do, I mean, we can change the power management chip out, but I just don't think that that's the issue. We've already changed out the 3 components that measure the current on the battery. The fact that it's browning out, or it's going so low that it's dipping to 8, I mean, that's not safe. That's not good. That's not good. And this was the battery you got replaced this week, right? With the brand new one? 2 weeks ago? Huh? A few months ago. Oh, okay. But I thought that you swapped out another one. Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha. So I can try grabbing another brand new battery from stock. It could just be this battery, but this cable's getting so hot too. And if that thing's getting that hot, it's the physics chip. Everyone goes back to the physics chip. Something is sucking some power. Yeah. The gate. I mean, they're hot. They're hot. You've got pizzaed. The power management chip's not hot at all, but that's in relative to everything else. It's not hot because the whole board's so hot over that area. This is the power management chip right there. It's 61. So I guess it's actually hotter than this stuff right now. Yeah, it's pretty hot. It's a pretty spicy. So yeah, that spot right there is the power management chip. Did I change the Wi-Fi card? You created a physics anomaly. Oh, right. It's charging right now. I plugged it in. That's why the power management chip is hot. You're right. So when I unplug it, power management chip cools off, and then this chip gets hot because it's running off the battery. Good point. Take a break and eat some pizza. I think it's a good idea. All right, let me just let this charge for a little bit so we can get the battery back up to voltage. and then let me go wash my hands. I'll grab a slice of pizza. I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, but that's about it. Are you sure you got one sauce? Good. Okay. All right. Clean scalpel. I have my hands ready for surgery, but I'm going to eat a pizza instead. So I got myself a Domino's pizza. Thank you, nobody. So, what's happening? What did I miss? What does PM is better to be checked under load or not? So, the power management chip like gets hot whenever it's charging. Whenever it's not charging, it's not even being used really. I mean, it's using it to monitor and communicate with the EC chip. Did I load BIOS defaults? I did not. That's a good point. Check all the resistances on all the rails. That could be something to check. Does Domino's sell transistors? I should have asked the driver when he dropped this off. Take the heatsink off and inspect underneath. Might be part of the GPU is bad. Well, I've been running just a Prime 95 test, which doesn't even use the GPU. Are the fans dragging? Equal more power. No, I don't think the fans are doing anything. Easy pizza, literally. No, the pizza was easy coming, but haven't fixed the board. Try disabling the GPU in the BIOS to see if it persists. You can't disable the GPU in the BIOS, but you can disable it in Windows. But I haven't even been using the GPU on these tests. We've just been doing Prime 95 tests. Again, 2 MOSFETs are good. Next MOSFET right after the high resistance is making them get hotter. Because there's the dual MOSFET right next to it, which I think is the charging MOSFET, I'm pretty sure. Hmm. I feel like there's a new trend sending Nate food. Firmware issues? I don't know if it could be a firmware issue. I'm pretty sure it's up to date with all that stuff. I'm thinking BIOS defaults. Nothing came to mind. I think the current sets resistor was bad, and the hotspot moved to the resistor. I feel like it's worse now. So after I changed out that stuff, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because the batteries got down to a low setting, so maybe they got down to 50%. So like if they're 100% charged and they're at 12.6 volts, so therefore the brownout situation would go down to 11 or 10.5. But if the batteries are already at 11, then they're browning out down to like 8 something. I hear pizza juice makes for great flux. I'm gonna get it all over my fingers and start grabbing the chips with it. Dompet. Where's the beer? I know, right? That's what we need. Some beer now. That's what we need. Okay. I said to replace the battery 3 times. Okay, I'm going to grab a new battery from the warehouse. So this is actually the original battery he bought a couple months ago from us. So I thought it was a battery that... Wait, did you get it replaced a couple months ago? Like you bought it and then you...
Bought it here and you took the battery for recycling and testing or something.
Yeah, but then that's it. Okay, so it's only replaced one time. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go grab a new battery from stock. I'll try that. But to me, something seems really crazy on this. So I'm going to go grab a battery real quick. Wild guess. What about power to the power management chip actually flipping the MOSFET fully on? Well, the MOSFET needs to be fully on anyway because it's not charging. It's like needing everything to pass through. So I would hope it'd be all the way on, or else it would be dropping some sort of voltage across it, which we don't need. But it looks to me like it's browning out across it, where the voltage drop is actually dropping everywhere. It's not just on that one line. So I'll replace mine 3 times and it still has the same issue. So, so he's saying he's still having the same issues. Do you have the same model, 17R2? X17R2? I mean, I can see that these things pull a lot of current. I mean, they do. And these batteries are, I mean, they're not the biggest battery on the block. So what is it? DWVRR. DWVRR. Let me make sure I have more of those. Any board view available for this? I'm pretty sure, but it's not. It doesn't seem like it's going to change anything. Gate voltage was 14 volts. It was about 5 volts above. So what did we say it was? DWVRR. So I have the batteries in stock. No, I don't have brand new ones though. These are open box ones. So I don't have any brand new ones. But I'll check in the brand new box when I'm back there. Sometimes we'll have it where it's sold out, but it's still in there. So I'm gonna run out to the warehouse real quick. Let me get my flashlight because it's gonna be dark out there. Our gate force is controlled by duty cycle or just voltages? It's just by voltages on those, because those are just turning them on and allowing the voltage to flow out. It's not going to be a pulse width that's on there. You can try not to figure out the same problem on the X17R2 either. Wait, you could not figure out the same issue. Oh, that's right. In yours, Doc, yours did the same thing. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, DWR. Yeah. So let me go grab that real quick. What was the part number again? DWVRR. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab the battery. Oh, right, yeah. Put the thing back together. Do you want me to just hang on to it? Or do you want me to jump over again? Let me grab this battery. We'll see how it goes. All right. Okay, so I don't have any brand new ones, so I'm just going to use one of these. These are going to be one of my open box. So we get these in sometimes, and they're in open packaging, and then we test them, and they're usually have very low charge cycles, or these are going to be ones that people bought brand new and then returned them. So we don't have brand new ones, and we always just sell them as a discount. So let's see how this pans out here. So what does this say this is actually charged at right now? So 69% charged. So I'm going to plug this one into it. All right, so this one is charged at 16%. So I'll have to get that to charge up a little bit. Load BIOS defaults. Okay, so let's see. Let me think about this. Because on this machine it has different type of BIOS defaults than like the really good factory defaults. Because factory defaults is really what we want. BIOS defaults is kind of like, just put it back to these settings. But factory defaults like resets a lot of things, almost like a fresh BIOS got put on. So this machine doesn't have the factory default button. It only has the BIOS defaults, which isn't as good. That's why you leave it plugged in all the time. So Doc says that he just leaves his plugged in all the time because it ends up shutting off on the battery. And I've seen it on multiple machines that have this similar issue. Either crystal or burnt trace on the coil. I don't know about that. Something under the heatsink. No, I don't think it's a heatsink. Because the thing runs fine on charger, like on full power. But you can obviously see that we have some sort of like situation where it's pulling the battery voltage down low. A bad sync, maybe. Just my 2 cents. That's why the battery voltage is dropping down too low during the GPU. But I haven't even done a GPU test recently. We've only been doing the CPU test. So this is a CPU test I've been starting. So GPU here, I'll just disable the GPU just so I can show you. Because I think it's still doing it even with the GPU disabled. Oh, the GPU is disabled right now. It's not even enabled. So the whole time the GPU's been disabled while we've been doing this. Ha! There you go. There you go. I think that they just want... This is hurting my brain, I can tell you that. All right, so we're at 18% charged. See if I can get this lined up so I can read the voltage on the battery. So 12.9 volts. Interesting. So so this one's only at 16% charge or 18% charge, but we have 12.9 volts in the battery right now. On the other battery, it was at 58% charge, but it was at 12.5 volts. But this thing should only go up to 12.6 in general. Yeah, during charging phase it's going to be higher voltage, but I can unplug it. And it goes down the... Oh. Did you see that? Guys, pay attention to this. So I plugged it back in. Get this keyboard out of my way here. So look at the voltage, 12.9. I'm going to unplug the charger. Pay attention to low voltage on that. So what was that, 10.9? I don't think it went any lower than 10.9. Okay. And let me start Prime 95. And so the other battery would drop down to 8, basically. Nine 9.8. That's as low as it's going. Now, I think there's a chance that it put itself in battery saver mode. I think it did because the voltage is low, or the battery's low. If I can get this keyboard out of my way, it'd be easier to see. Battery setting. Is on. It says battery saver's on. So I'm going to turn battery saver off. Okay, now we're down to 9.4 volts. But I'm going to stop the the Prime 95 and then restart it. That's whenever it would dip down, is right when it starts it. Okay, so we're back up to 10.2, 10.3. All right, get ready. We're going to start at 3, 2, 1. Wait, no, 3, 2, 1. 9.2, 9.1. But it didn't do that initial drop to 8, did it? So, what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know. Could mean that that battery is bad already. This brand new battery from Dell that he got a few months ago might already be bad. So let's I think we can try. This is only charged to 17%, and it's doing better than this battery that was charged to 56%. All batteries suck. That's the verdict. That's what it is. That's true. Yeah. So let me get this thing charged up all the way. Let's see if we can run with the GPU also. All right. So we have it. It's at 15% right now. Oh, I probably should plug it in. And let's enable the GPU. NLBA, I could run it on the NLBA and see, I do have one of those machines. All right, how much time do we got? 25 minutes, okay, so I just enabled the GPU. So now I'm going to switch the battery with the GPU enabled. Pay attention to the voltages here. So 12.9. Unplug it. 10 point. I mean, it didn't get that low, but it did change to battery saver mode again. I gotta turn that off. Where we're going, we don't need to save the battery. .3. Tried to switch it, it just crashed or something. Or is it hanging? Not going anywhere. There we go. Got it. I knew it would take a second. It's waking back up. Okay, so now it's off. Okay, so now we have battery saver is off. GPU is on. Let me just run ForMark by itself first. Okay, pay attention. 10.2 is our lowest so far. Let's start it. 9.9 is our lowest. Okay, now we're going to start Prime 95. Gigawatts are going. Again, this is only with a 15% charged battery. 8.6, 8.5 for a second. 9.4. 9.6. Battery's at 14%. So it did get down to 8.4. Is that what we saw as the lowest? That was right when I started it. Now it's only going to 8 frames per second. It's really struggling. But it hasn't shut off yet. Down to 13%. So 12%, 12 frames per second. I mean, we're down. It's because the percentage is so low. I bet if this thing was like at 60% or 80%, it would be staying a little higher speed. But so I don't know. This battery's already performing better, and it has less charge. It hasn't shut off yet. So I don't know. I think we might just need to go with replacing the battery on this thing to start out. But it is getting late, so I'm going to have to try to reassemble this machine so he can take it home and play around with it. And I'll send this battery home with him. He can actually do more tests with it and make sure everything's good to go. Let this shut down. There it goes. Yeah, it didn't shut off though. Did I fix it? Did all my changing of parts fix it? Or was it just a battery? We'll never know. We'll never know. The answer is it wasn't, we don't know. Come on. Keep the new MOSFETs. I think the new MOSFETs are an upgrade, personally. Okay, so this is going to be the new battery. Here, let me scan the serial number on this battery real quick. That's for your warranty. So if I do end up, if he does end up keeping this, I do have the serial number, so I can actually update his warranty that we give him. All right, so let's do that right there. All right, let me reassemble this thing. It only takes 2 seconds, and I get paid $1 per screw. Remember that, people? So I think there's about 30 screws here. I get a tip for every screw I put in. Maybe we'll fix another laptop. No, no more laptops. I'm done with laptops. Fixed too many laptops in my life. Where's the rest of the laptop? It's under the pizza? Alright, hold on. I got too much stuff around me. This is your battery. Alright, so here's the system. So let's just reassemble it, and then we can hopefully see that it's all fixed. Like brand new. I pizzaed another laptop. I pizzaed another laptop. Yeah, like I said, this is one of the better designs for cooling because it has these 4 fans that do blow in on the machine. So, I mean, I have no real complaints with this, except that whenever it was designed or built, they got a little liquid metal happy. And I guess the CPU pulls a lot of current, so it has a hard time on batteries. But 30 credits on their way. Do you want extra cheese on your laptop? You guys are nuts, I tell you, nuts. Defective battery. And I'm going to take his battery, the other battery, and plug it into my meter tomorrow. LBNA meter. See if I can actually figure out. It'll probably tell me one of the cells are out of spec or something. Has to be. Like one of them's browning out a little bit. It's the only thing that makes sense. $2. Tazzy, thank you. I'll make a donation for the screws. So that takes care of 2 screws. Thank you for that, Tazzy. Here's the screw bowl. If you guys want to see. What did I do with here? This guy. That's an idea. Plug the bad battery into another laptop. Suspect a bad battery in the other laptop. I would just try to test it on another machine. That'd probably be a good idea. See if it shuts off too. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think it probably is. Just some sort of design flaw. All right. Let's see. Do you ever dream about fixing laptops? You know, I don't think I've had one of those dreams, you know, where you're like doing your work in your dream and then you can never finish it properly. You know, you could try to keep getting closer. I'm like, trying to get the screw out. I can't get the screw out. No, I don't think I've had one of those. All this over one battery. Didn't you say it couldn't be the battery? Yes, I did. But I also thought that he came and got it replaced. For some reason, I thought you said that you came and got it replaced. And I didn't know. So, that was me thinking wrong. Assuming. Put the laptop inside the pizza box. What's the thickness of PTM should you use for 7750? All of it doesn't matter because it just melts. So you can just use the one that I sell on my site, which is the Thermal Grizzly version. That will be the right size. Yeah, but whenever you put your heatsink on, it actually squeezes it. So, Gritty, thanks for the cheer for one screw. One screw. Turtle. Rotate the battery. Did you see me putting it in backwards? Nothing to see here, okay? It is getting late, I'm telling you. I start shutting down. What time did I get to work today? I think I got to work at 7:30 this morning. So how long have I been here? Do you even know?
15 hours.
Yeah, 15 hours. There you go. Been here for 15 hours. Windows 98 SE was beta. Windows 98 SE was my favorite of all operating systems.
14 hours.
I guess math is hard. 14, almost 15. 15-ish. There you go. You can put an ish on anything, and then it makes it valid. Yeah, 14, 15, whatever it takes. You forgot you're in California, so your time's a little different. Oh yeah, 7:30 a.m. Yeah, except for an illegal operation. Right, how many screws do we have left? Only a few more screws left, people. Nate, a friend of mine found a battery, battery that actually worked perfectly in X17R2, no problems, and it had a Extend brand, uses 100% Japanese high quality cells, not the Chinese crap. Well, there you go. Doc, thank you for that. Of course, was my wife was tired of me waking up at 3 in the morning. I don't want to wake up at 3 in the morning either. 2 screws there. Those are the bottom screws. We got 2 rear. Are those the rear screws? I think those are. Okay. We're down to the final screws here, people. So let me just point. So I like to point at all the screw holes just to make sure I have them all, and then make sure I have everything plugged in. So that one's going to be on the base. That's on the base. Those are there. I got a screw here I need. But I don't have a screw for that. And what about over here? What you got? Screw between the fan and small fan. So I got these screws right here are actually in the base, so I can't use those. But it's this screw right here. I know one needs to go there, but... Oh, there's one over here. Go right here. Okay, I think we're good. And then these are in the 17-inch model only. What's going on with this battery? Not sitting in there all the way. Someone fall off my screwdriver. That was an optical illusion, I tell you. The large amount of screws you've removed. Yeah, the other day I was taking out screws in front of somebody, and he was like, You're not going to keep track of those screws? Like, nope. They're all coming out. They're all going to go back in eventually. There we go. There we go. The front actually has like a little lip that has to go under, and I had it on top of it. Oh, we got a level 2 hype train on Twitch. What's going on there? Razar, did you just gift some subs? I did not notice that. Looks like some people are getting some commercial-free viewing for the next 30 days. Thank you for that. Okay. Down to the final here. Get all that flat. This is my least favorite part, is getting this back off of here. Or back on. Because you have to get all these cables to lay flat. And you don't want it to slide underneath the cable or on top of the cable. Yeah, I just need to put a piece of tape here, I think. Windows 7 with Service Pack 3. Not feature update 2007H2 or whatever they want to call it. Don't you like those feature updates? MindSpring. Oh, what was MindSpring? Wasn't that like a dial-up service? Net Zero. Remember that one? You have the free dial-up. Nothing's free in this world. Okay, okay. You got ads. Oh my gosh, I'm about to freak out on this. Stay down. This cable's bunching up too. Oh, Earthlink. That was the other one. Does anyone still have an Earthlink email address? What's your oldest email address? That's what I want to know. Does anyone have an AOL email address still?
Yep.
Oh, you do? Oh, wow. Anybody else? Someone has a Netscape. Netscape email address. There we go. I think we're good now. Hotmail is mine. Yeah, the oldest one I have is a Hotmail. From like 95, I think. Okay, or 96. Still 1998 Hotmail. Wait a minute. Let's go back here. The olden days. You could finger on Linux? What? Finger me on Linux. What is that supposed to mean? Sometimes you people say the craziest things. The darndest things. You still shop at Circuit City? Okay, Hotmail from 2004. Roman says hello. Hey, Roman. Robert. How you guys doing? I hope you're enjoying that Alienware 11. Man, that's been forever. Okay, we got all that together there. Let's plug in there. Let's plug in there. These are for your drives. Pull these drives out. First computer was in 1986. I don't think... My dad had a Macintosh that he would cart back and forth between work and home. It was the actual Macintosh, you know, the screen built in and everything. We get to a... Thanks for that hype train level 2 on Twitch. Thanks for anyone who donated. I haven't heard of Circuit City in a long time. We used to have a Circuit City right up the road from here. I remember buying stuff from there. Okay, I think I got everything in there. We're good to go. Now we're going to seal it up. Seal up the coffin. So he has his brand new battery. It's not brand new, but his battery that was working better than the other battery. Your friend worked at the original Atari and had a Commodore. Thanks for the pizza, nobody. It was delish. That was a good surprise, actually. Did you tell the guy to go honk outside? He's like, I was told to just honk outside. Brand new battery from Soren's box. Step 1, get a box. Step 2, ask Soren to put something in the box. Got a Gmail account. I remember when people were getting the Gmail accounts, but then you were only invite only or whatever, and you had to be in that special circle of people who was like, I'm so cool, I got a Gmail account. You're welcome. Wife gave me the instructions. Thank you, wifey. Thank you, wifey. All right, I'm going to save this right here. Okay. All right, so I have it back assembled. This keyboard is lighting up. It's going to post in a second. There's a fan spinning, but I don't see a picture. Does Soren ever stop by chat? He sure does, occasionally. Posting with no picture, of course. Let me turn this thing back off. So I did something very wrong. I did not plug in the cable, I guess. Or not plug it in all the way. One of the two. Oh, I know I didn't plug in the power button either. I remember not plugging in the power button. Oh, gosh. I'm getting tired, guys. Okay. Yeah, the caps lock works. The machine's running. So we have two things wrong. No picture and no power button. Huh? Oh, I know. You know, remember, every screw I take out. So that's why I do these on purpose. So I can take the screws out. And we only got 3 minutes. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. VIC 20. I have a VIC 20 under the desk. All right, power button's down here, which is annoying. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So the power button ribbon cable I never pulled out. Okay, great. Yeah. I unscrewed another screw. I love taking this rear cover off, by the way, guys. Yeah, has everyone noticed this $1 per screw? Okay, we need some Tesla bots. That'll be a lot better. Okay. I mean, the LCD was plugged in. Let's try to seat it in there one more time. I don't see how it wasn't plugged in. Okay. And the power button's going to be a little bit harder to get to, so I might have to do that a little bit after the stream here. So I'll make sure we got a picture. $1 for every screw removed, remember? There we go, we got a picture. Okay, so that just wasn't seated in there all the way. Power button's not going to work because I'm an idiot. Okay. So in order for me to get this, I'm going to have to actually take a few more screws out, but we're going to do that. You guys don't need to watch me do all that. And we are at the end of the stream here. It's been 4 hours, and I'm wiped out for sure. But anyway, hopefully this was kind of an interesting stream. We did a couple different things. We had the M1730 to start out. That machine, you know, the guy actually sent in 2 of them. We didn't even need to break into the second one because they really just needed to fix that first one. And the first one had crucial piece of software that was tied to the laptop itself, but it ended up being just the physics card, right? So we pulled that out. We actually fixed the physics card, put it back in there. So that was that. And then we had Sinan in chat drove here with his laptop having this issue and trying to go through and address the different power off, shut off issues off the battery, which was kind of a strange one. But hopefully this did solve the issue because it was staying on I'm gonna let him take it home, let him play around with it, and we'll report back on the next stream. But remember, next Sunday it's gonna be a special one. Okay, very special. I have a pre-Dell Alienware coming in. This is gonna be whenever it was Alienware, the company that was not associated with Dell. I purchased one on eBay, not working, so we're gonna work on that on Sunday. I've never even worked on one. I have no idea, right? And I don't even have a charger for it, so I'm going to have to make a charger. So I think that might be fun. So next stream, Sunday at 9 a.m. So hopefully you guys are going to join in there. Hey, I want to thank everybody for coming out and all those donations. It does help out a lot, because I end up spending a bunch of time going down different rabbit holes, and it doesn't always get rewarded, but I appreciate everybody's participation on that. And thank the mods for keeping the chat clean. Thank you, Sinan, for coming out and bringing his laptop, donating it for science. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And thanks for watching.